Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, with a double The Traitors Canada Season 1 recap with Mel B. How you doing, Mel B?
I am fabulous today. Actually, I'm a little pissed off, but we'll get into that. But on a personal level, I'm fabulous. On a Traitors Canada level, I'm rotten. But carry on. We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. And then another blast from the past. We have Dom here to talk about this episode. How are you doing? Tell us everything.
I'm
What's
doing
your thought?
great. Thanks for having me here. I know Melissa's crazy into this. I'd do anything to help Melissa out. She's a great traitor, even though she got kicked out first in history.
I had him fooled. I had you fooled, Dom.
Oh, here we go. And meeting you for the first time, Chantele. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. It's like I love reality TV. I love talking about reality TV. So whenever anybody from these shows want to talk to me, I'm always like, yay, we can just like hear your perspective, because I've always really had the outsider looking in, I'll analyze it, but like getting to see it from the other side, I find really fascinating. So thank you for being here.
So wait, you're telling me you never applied for any shows?
I mean, I've applied. I've moved through many stages. I've never just landed on a show. I know, right?
Yes.
Why? What was your ultimate fantasy world for you in a reality show?
Well, I was always a Big Brother super duper triple duper fan. So I've been watching Big Brother since the very, very beginning, the US versions. Obviously, I've seen all the Canadian versions around the world, UK, everything. So I was a Big Brother super fan. And so I would say Big Brother, I think I could win the easiest because I understand the strategy of that game so well. But Traitors might be taking that spot because it's got it all. What do you think? What about it, Dom? Like, are you a Big Brother super fan?
The only question I have is, it sounds like you're a super fan, and it doesn't seem like a lot of super fans make it to the finish line.
Oh,
he's not
no,
wrong.
I don't know.
I'm the Traitors, maybe, but like they haven't seen me play yet. I haven't been cast yet. So
we gotta get you on there, girl.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if I'd do as well as Mel B did or as well as Kuzi did. Like I just don't know how well I would do on the Traitors, but I think I'd do pretty well.
If I was a casting producer, you got the personality. Let's roll with it.
Yeah,
fun to watch.
So, Dom, are you a super fan of reality TV? How'd you get involved with the Traitors? I was talking to Mel about how the casting was kind of closed. I didn't really hear about it. Like, if you're allowed to say, how'd you get involved in the world?
Honestly, like the whole TV thing kind of just happened for me. Like, I don't know if you would say it's luck or just the personality shined. I don't know what the end result was, but so.
Whoa. Dom.
And he with bated breath.
Who kicked him off the podcast? Did he get kicked off?
There you go.
There he is. There he is. So I thought Karine just came in and banished you again. I thought she was like, "Nah, you're
no." That was a CTV PR team. That's who that was. So long story short, I'm in the renovation game. I take care of people's homes. Obviously, I'm on my own at this point, but way back when I was probably like, I don't know, 23, I was renovating my grandmother's place. I call her Nonna. You probably call her Grandma or Mom. I don't know. In your ethnicity, what you call her? There you go.
But my British vibes. My dad was born in England.
My parents were away in Italy at the time, and my aunt was looking pretty much on Kijiji for light fixtures. So essentially, people that post things on there for free, pick them up. They look nice. Either they're vintage or they go with your look. And then we'd swap the ones out at her place because we were trying to get it ready for a tenant. Well, sure enough, I guess Game of Homes season 2 was coming to Toronto. And there was actually an ad on Kijiji. Believe it or not, Kijiji. Not Indeed, not these big things. It was on Kijiji.
How long ago was this?
I think I was 24, 26. It was a long time ago. But my aunt, sure enough.
I don't use Kijiji anymore, so it must have been a little while,
Oh, yeah. Cool. So my aunt decided to sign us up. And at the time, we were doing a side job on a weekend. Me and my best friend there, Mike, which obviously, if you haven't seen the show, you don't know who Mike is. And we went down for the casting, and we went to our local what do you call it there? Not grocery store, but shopping mall. in Hamilton, it's called Jackson Square. It's kind of run down. But anyway, they did the casting call there. And we were walking through the mall. And sure enough, we get to the food court and there's nobody there. There's nobody
Oh
there.
my God, you lucked
So I'm
out.
like, are we at the
Wow.
right place? Did we waste our time? Like, this is a weekend and we got to finish this job because we got to go back to our jobs during the week. And sure enough, there was two lovely women there. One was Amanda and the other one was Miss Heather.
Heather.
Wow. Okay.
Shout out to Heather.
There was absolutely no one there. So for them, I was probably a diamond in the rough because they had no one to talk to, right?
That's amazing.
But
So
like
I
you
just-
also have a great personality, and I'm sure your best friend Mike and you have like banter and like telling
Oh,
jokes,
yeah.
and you
Oh,
just
yeah,
probably
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
like even care because it wasn't something that you were planning on doing. So you probably just really were lively and personable and there.
I was honestly just being me. Like what you see is what you get. And she's like, you need to come to Toronto. And I was just like, okay, take my number down, take his number down. Oh, and just to make sure, you got to take my aunt's number down because in case you don't get any of us, you'll get one of us, right? So we went down to Toronto at the Royal York Hotel on Front Street. And honestly, at first glimpse, I walked in there was 3,000 people.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And
Oh,
I
they
was-
went like across Canada to bring, and they brought all these people kind of to the finals.
I don't know those details, but when I went there and they're like, go this way, there was about 3,000, like the convention center in there, or the hall you want to call it, was rammed.
Yeah.
And I looked at Mike and I go, listen, Mike, like honestly, just looking around the room, I'm like, look how beautiful that girl is. She looks way better on camera than we do. I'm like, there's no shot in hell we got a chance at this.
You
right?
guys are too real, though.
So then they're like, okay, you guys are next up. You come upstairs. So we went into this. I guess they rented out all the suites or whatever you want to call them, the high end rooms, whatever. And we played a little game. One person had a sign that said my friend. One said me. So they asked us questions. We did
Fun.
that. We left. Then they called us back again. This time around, they mic'd us up, had the cameras rolling, and we did a challenge within the hotel. After the challenge was done, I was like, okay, like we're gonna go home now. Like we got to go back to Hamilton. They're like, no, where are you going? And I'm like, what do you mean, where are we going? And they're like, you need to come over here. So sure enough, we walk around the corner and there's a room full of executives. They've been watching us the whole time on TV. And as soon as we walked in there, they started howling and they're like, so like, you guys think you could do this like renovation decor show? Like, do you have any like sense of design, or like, do you guys think you can even do well? And I turned to the one woman and I was just like, honestly, if we need drapes, my aunt's a seamstress and she could definitely make us drapes. So I think we'll be all right. So they started laughing and then we left, and then they called us back again. This time we had to go through a physician and a psychiatrist. It was very short. At this time, I think the numbers were dwindled down to like 50. And they asked us, questions that they would ask anybody else, like, how would you be able to deal with the limelight, knowing that now people who might not know you, and some people may not like you, and like, how you going to deal with whatever. You go through the standard questions. Sure enough, she's like, okay, well, we're going to call you guys on Friday. So I'm at my desk working at the time, and I get a phone call on Thursday, and she's like, hey, listen, like, I had to make this call a little bit sooner than later because we're really trying to get the role on with this show, and you were picked from the beginning. And I was like, are you fucking serious? I'm sorry to swear, but she's like, are you serious? And I was just like, yeah, let's do this. And then she's like, pack your bags. We're picking you up. We're going to drive you to the set and go from there. And then we ran with it, and we got lucky because unlike Traitors, this was more designed for your own show within a show. So it was 4 teams competing to renovate dilapidated houses. And then at the end of it, the winner gets the house. So I did that show, and that's how I got to meet Heather. And she called me randomly last year and was like, hey, what are you doing? And like, obviously I have her caller ID. And I was just like, I haven't talked to her in years. And she's like, what's going on, this, that? I was like, not much. I'm like, this is kind of random. She's like, listen, we got this new show coming from, I guess, wherever it's from. She's like, have a look into it, see if it's something for you. And I was just like, okay, I'll go watch the US season, episode 1 or whatever, and see what my fiance says. And she's like, this is not for you. You're not manipulative. You're not deceitful. You can't do this, blah, blah, right? So I was just like, you know what, Heather? Like, I think I'm going to have to pass on this because it's not really up my alley. I'm more funny, outgoing, and like, personable. And I'm not a type of person who manipulates people and stuff like that. So sure enough, the problem is in the back of my ear, I kept having the fiance saying I need an engagement ring. So
it's like, what do you want here?
So then I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna go do it and try and win some money towards getting her that ring, whether it's 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever the case may be. I'm just gonna go and try and win a nominal amount of money, as much as the show might not be up my alley, and we'll go with it. And sure enough, first person I knew of on the cast was you over there with the cowboy hat on. So
Really?
when I got off, yeah, when I got off the airplane, they had people there with signs like Dominic or Melissa or whatever, like come with us, whatever. And
I didn't know this.
they had Melissa B sign there. So then I was just like, oh, like, is she good looking? What she look like? Do you think I'll be able to connect with her? And the guy that's escorting me to drive me to the place is like, oh yeah, she's cute. She's from Halifax, this, that. So then we had our phones still before, like, as we got sequestered, and I was able to look up Trevon and Melissa before we even started the show. Yeah.
Dom, how did we not talk about this yet? That's crazy.
I don't know. You can't disclose everything at once.
Yeah, I suppose. I was in my hotel room the night before, like, we started, because they took our phones, like, the day that we started, so the night before we all had our phones, and I was looking up reality people that I thought might be on the show. Like, I looked up Bruno from BB Can 3 and 5 to see if he was like gonna live stream that night, and like I looked up like a bunch of people from Big Brother Canada. Never thought about Kevin Martin to try to see who would like be on the thing, and I couldn't find anybody. Like, I didn't guess anyone.
I found you, girl. I found you. I'm pretty witty.
You're a super sleuth over here. Yeah. Maybe that's the new show. It's like,
you could have detected the traitors. Like,
I mean, to be honest with you, Melissa, like, obviously I got the purple edit, so a lot of the stuff I did got edited out. Yeah. On that episode there, that was the first time I came to spend time with you. That was actually done purposely. But obviously got edited out. No, so what happened is on episode 2, at that point I got a little bit comfortable, but not to the extreme, because you want to stick around. And I said, I'm going to make a commotion that hopefully is going to make an exit at commercial to get viewers like, oh my God, what's going on? So after we were done the breakfast, I was like, you outside right now, like aggressively, right? So all the cameras came outside. It was May, Mary, Melee, and Donna. No, this was before you were gone.
See, episode 2.
Okay, yeah. Continue. Sorry.
And I was like, listen, I don't like, at one way or another, you guys came to me and said you 100% believe I'm a faithful. So in order for me to build trust in you, we're going to play a little game. So I had them all stand in a semicircle, and I went one at a time, and I said, you guys are going to divulge to me in my ear who you believe the traitor is. I'm not going to divulge to anybody else who the traitor is amongst you guys and give away what you said, because I'm true to being loyal and not giving up names or whatever the case may be. I said, what I will do, though, is pay attention, because when I go back inside, I will spend time with who the majority vote is as a traitor. And that's why I came to spend time with you. Now, at that point in time, I did believe the other contestants. However, I knew going into the game, because I did analyze the game for a week. I told people I didn't. That,
oh my God, my mind is blowing right now.
That I could never divulge who I knew the traitors were. Right. So throughout that little skit that I did, which obviously didn't make the show because of my purple edit. Good. I thought a lot of stuff I did but I knew that it was going to get removed anyway. So, knowing that I did that, I also said to the people outside, I said, the traitors are the type of people who always want to be in the know. Pay attention closely. Who was not called to come outside, they will come out aggressively to see what's going on, because they're going to be curious as to what's going down. Sure enough, you know who ran out that door?
Mike.
Koozie.
Oh, Koozie. Koozie is.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't remember
Koozie, and guess who the other one was? Michael. Mm-hmm. So
that's a good tell.
So anyway, I turned to Koozie and them, and I said, "Listen, respectfully, did I ask you to come outside? Respectfully, did I ask you to come outside?" I said, "Go back inside."
Oh
You were
no.
And
so
sure
good
enough,
pushing me down. I'm
sure
still mad
enough,
about you.
that night I did write on the paper Kuzi as a traitor. But I knew that at no point in time I could divulge who I specifically thought they were. My role was to be the stupid guy who has no clue what's going on, because it was going to be best for me as in my game as a faithful.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of the stuff I did. I feel like if a lot of it aired, a lot of people probably would have thought I was smarter than I looked. And coming from Bruno's eyes, I'm a dud. So
Oh,
Dude, he
um
called me a dud too. Team
so
dud.
I don't
so
usually
yeah, I
agree
mean,
with Bruno's analysis anyways, so
He
don't
doesn't get
worry.
it.
so that's kind of a little bit of the stuff that I did. Now I'll be honest, Kevin Martin, I did notify him. He was the one that pushed me over the edge, because I
Mhm.
am sometimes an emotional person.
Yeah.
And it honestly, I went in there discussing that I wasn't going to let my emotions get to me. And when he told me that I was 99% not 100% faithful, I thought that at that point in time, with the way that I was acting in the manner and minding my own business, that everybody already knew I was 100%. So I took it
Mhm.
offensively, and then it's what led me to do what ultimately got me disqualified. And I told the producers when I got kicked off, I started crying. I honestly did. I never cry. And I told them, like, this is bullshit, because the game didn't get me. I got myself. So,
Sad to
I mean,
hear.
I don't want to go into details about what exactly happened. That's a story that's very intricate,
Oh,
but
fine.
you might
This is
you might
another day. Keep them like fishing for it. That's
you
all.
might have thought that that was a little bit intelligent when I did there too, but I mean, I'm not going to be that guy.
It I'll say it was. That's all I'll say. But I think you need another shot on one of
Well,
these strategy
would
shows.
you do another strategy show, or is reality TV? Are you done with
Hey,
reality
listen,
TV?
listen, I feel for Mel B. I would have loved the shot. Listen, I don't watch reality TV. I do think I'm a type of person that can connect with people on such a deep level that it's deeper than even the show can promote. Because like in Big Brother, you're all working against each other, not like traders. I feel like it's a little bit more of a team environment as much as it's not. And I would be that guy that would stay up till the sun came up and talk to you about anything, everything, and anything about life, and just try and give you advice and give you experiences that I've gone through, because I've gone through a lot in my life. And I feel like that would build relationships to the point where, like, it'd be so difficult to see me go that you might just keep me
I
around.
mean,
Whether I'm going to win or not,
social game
I
is
feel like that's winning the
huge.
lottery,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
social game is really, really big in these social strategy
It is. It's
games, these
massive.
reality games that we the competitives that we love. A lot of people they say that I'm gonna go in there, I'm just gonna, I'm not here to make friends. And I'm like, no, you should be here to make friends, because the friends are the ones that keep you here, that the friends are the ones that vote for you to win in some certain cases. And sometimes friends will know you're a traitor and they'll like, you know what though? I like them. So let me play this game with them, even knowing that they're a traitor, and get to the end. So yeah, I think
I,
that you definitely have a great strategy.
unless it gets to a point where, like, it's either them or you, right?
Of
that's
course.
that's the tipping
Yeah.
point where essentially they have to let you go. It's part of the game. We all can't win. I mean, going into traders, I was so boring on the confessionals, because at the beginning I literally thought they were going to utilize the confessionals and play them back to the traders, and I didn't want to give them any sort of information. And every time I'd go in those DRs, I'd tell the ladies, I'd make them laugh every time. I said, listen ladies, I know it's another day, but I got nothing for you. I was just like, I'm gonna be boring. I'm gonna be boring, but it is what it is. And they'd be like, well, you gotta have something. And I'm like, listen, there's no evidence here. It's a he said, she said game, and I work on evidence. So are we done here?
Hilarious. I
Well,
always thought that people could hear me in the confessionals because it wasn't like it was separate rooms, but there was a lot of open doors and just a whole lot of like curtains. There's all these curtains to try and, I guess, soundproof. And they said nobody could hear you. And if you had to walk by, you had to wear these like noise canceling headphones. But I don't know. I could still, like, I was like, someone can hear me. Like, I just always was afraid somebody could hear me. I was convinced day one that Kevin heard me in my confessional because he was not far when I went into my first confessional where I was like, I'm a traitor, and like went mad. And I remember I keep replaying it. I'm like, how the fuck did he find out so fast? How did he know so fast? But yeah, I mean, ultimately it was me. But like I remember thinking, like, did he hear me through the curtains? Like, that's what I was mostly afraid of. I didn't think they were going to show people, but I thought other people could hear me.
Well,
And
Dom,
like
so what are you thinking about this season so far? Like, do you have PTSD from like your experience and then, seeing this new cast of characters playing this game, or are you
I
excited?
told Melissa, you know
I
what, they
sound warm.
extended the opportunity for everybody to go down to the manor and take part in episode 1. I was the only one who said, you know what, I'm going to expense it. It's an experience. I'm going to go down there and show them how good of a guy I am, considering I'm going to expense it out of my own pocket to come and support them. So at first glimpse when I got there, because obviously we were like background people just with the masks on. As you can see, I was one of those ones.
Oh,
I don't
same
know if
with
I got.
Olivier. Olivier was, I don't know if it was in the French one or if it was in both, but he was also in doing some of the background work on this season. So sorry.
So when I got there, I thought to myself, okay, like this is more of a grand entrance than we had. They had flames everywhere. You know what? It came down torrential downpours, and we had to wear like these waiter outfits, and I got absolutely soaked
Oh,
to the point where like the only dryer we had was the ones inside the bathrooms, and we spent probably a good 20 minutes trying to dry it. But forget that. The experience was way more intense than when we first arrived at the manor. And when I seen everybody arrive on the helicopters, I thought, okay, now that it
they're
seems like
bigging it
Big
up.
Brother's gone, this is getting amped up. This might be the number one show in Canada
100%.
moving
I
forward
think
for
it
sure. So
is. I think it
It's
is like number
definitely,
one in the ratings or something.
the Traitors in general, it just took a lot of spot like awards in the States. And so it's definitely going to be a popular show. Are you liking the rest of the season? So are you're keeping up with it? Well, it's episode 2,
yeah, I mean, yeah, Bruno's asked me to do the podcast with him, so I am doing that with him.
but
Um, but no, I was kind of shocked. Did you guys pay attention to the end of that mission there, where they like made it seem like a shield was in place?
oh
Like
yeah,
that
and
kind
they,
of threw me.
oh,
That
in
kind of threw me
flame.
for a loop.
I didn't notice anybody going for the shield unless they're going to do like a flashback moment where it's
Yeah, I
like you
can't
didn't see.
remember what they said about how you get the
They
shield.
had to climb inside of it and then get carried to the end of the whatever.
Why
But
would you need to do
Is
and
that?
that what
wouldn't
they
you
said?
only they said that you had to go into the Trojan horse, you had to and that's where the shield is, and then just be inside the Trojan horse with them pushing you to the end. I would think no matter what, because they didn't get to the end in
Uh,
time, if there
It
was one
wouldn't
in play,
matter.
I would think it wouldn't have been in play at all. Like, so maybe that's why they didn't show it if it was something. Um,
okay, okay, because you know what? At the end of the challenge, they're like, "Oh, nobody gets the shield," and I was like, "Shield? What shield was in place?"
They do mention it. They mention it at the beginning that there is a
So
shield
I
up for
missed that
grabs,
then.
but yeah,
Okay.
but if that's the way to get the shield, like nobody's gonna get that shield because everybody would have to agree that only one person can climb in and then they're the ones hauling your ass over the finish line. Like that shield was never gonna be in play if that was the case. Like
Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense then. You brought to light for me a little bit more than what I thought. I was like, "What shield? What are we talking about here?"
Yeah,
Like,
no, it was inside of the horse.
shield
She
was in the
does
horse.
say it at the end of when she's describing the mission and what they had to do. So, yeah,
okay,
but
thanks for clearing that up.
it was a short moment. But she definitely mentioned it, and she shows the shield inside of the horse. So at the beginning of this episode, it didn't really matter the fact that the people were coming in. Usually they're like, oh, okay, who's next? Who's next? But we had 5 people on death row. What were your thoughts on people volunteering themselves to be up for elimination? And what are your thoughts on who they decided on taking out of the game? Murder.
Melissa, you can take this one because you were one of the first ones out. You know the feeling. Give it to her, girl.
It's the stupidest thing that you could ever do. I'm still mad about it. I messaged who have I been speaking with? I've been speaking with Chris and I've been speaking with Dylan. And I'm like, what have you done? Why would you do that? Like since last episode, I'm like, I don't want to know who goes first. I know it's Chris. I don't want to know, but I definitely know it's Chris. But like oh my God. I don't know. Again, unless they thought that, by doing that, maybe one would become a traitor. Or I think Dylan or somebody had said that they thought that maybe if they volunteered for it, there was a chance that maybe it was Trana. I think I saw it on Instagram. Somebody said something about like they thought that if they volunteered for it, there was a possibility that Corinne could say, psych, you guys are actually all safe. And it was going to be some kind of a weird twist. So maybe, but that's a real big risk. Like you're literally putting yourself 1 in 5 to go home. And it's just,
And we
you
also
will always
heard
regret it.
that she was really, it took a long time before it was decided that people were going to step forward here. So
Yeah.
fine a little bit, but if you go out and you go home, like that step forward was definitely not worth it. Definitely
Mm-mm.
I
not at
I
all.
100%
Yay.
100% agree with you. I think it was a twist that was thrown off the hop just because there's more contestants and they need people to go home quite quickly. But I do feel like Melissa's right. Most people there, because of the ambiance of the show and the way it's designed, and they keep you on your toes mentally, I
Mhm.
guarantee you a lot of them thought if I throw myself up there, I got a good chance at being a traitor. Because from what I've seen from our season to this season, it seems like a lot more people are 100% in on becoming a trader. I feel like a lot more on our season we're more like I'd rather be a faithful. It was hard
Mhm.
to get those evident people that were like, okay, I want to be a trader. Like this is for me. This is what I got to do. This is what I was here to be. I feel like season 2 did, and I think Melissa's right where they probably either A thought that or
Well,
B
because we would
they
assume that, right? Like one of the five have to be a traitor. But also Melissa and I were talking about the fact that okay, so if we think that one of five is going to have to be a traitor, every single person that steps forward, they're going to want to get them out because it's like, well, one of them has to be a traitor, so
Just
let's
knock them
Rolodex
off.
them right through. Let's just go.
so the other thing
Shockingly,
that I
no.
thought,
Like that should be the move. Like,
It might come up
I
later when you need evidence
guess,
for something else or need
I
a
mean, the other
reason.
thing I thought of was maybe these people are putting themselves out there because nobody knows anybody really to a certain extent. It's so early on in the game that it's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go on a limb, put myself up there for you. Maybe we can build a rapport and we could work together moving forward. There's two ways of looking at it. Ultimately, the only person who's going to know
mhm.
why they made that decision is Chris. And he clearly stated in his exit interview he made a mistake. So for him to say that, to me is kind of almost like either A, yes, he wanted to be a traitor and thought he was going to have a better shot, or B, he
Mhm.
was going up there to show the people his true colors as a person and potentially help his game down the road. The difference between our season and this season, what I'm finding is the traders are making moves that are more subtle than they are
Mm-hmm.
abrupt. So essentially, Colin
Mhm.
and Erica, that was a whole feud. Those two things were utilized to get them two out. Now with this season, I feel like they're going off the board with their murders. Seems like
Yeah.
Chris was a nice guy, got along with a lot of people. I thought, from a viewer standpoint, Dylan and his mouth was going to get him out first.
But I thought that was all the
Yeah.
reason why he was going to stay because it's like
Yeah.
people suspect him. He like he
He'll go
gets a
home
little
before
mouthy
me.
later.
Yeah.
But I definitely think they want to keep him as someone that's going to cause some distraction, that have people talking about him, rub people the wrong way at times. And so I think that that's kind of good to deflect from what the traders are actually doing. So I think they want to take out people, or well, their strategy, anyways, is to take out people that are kind of quiet and that you just that nobody's really suspecting them. I think that's even what they said. And
Yeah.
Chris out of that group was the least suspected.
He was like the guaranteed faithful. Like that was one of the things that we had
Whoa,
to
whoa, whoa. Guaranteed faithful. I was the only
somebody
guaranteed
who nobody
faithful. Where you
suspected.
going?
What'd you say?
I said I was the only guaranteed faithful. Where you going?
You thought, but you were 99% faithful according to them.
Yeah,
Thank you
that
very much.
1%. Yeah.
Can we just take a minute for Chris? Because I am so upset. He was supposed to be our naked contestant for this season.
Yes,
We were
so
promised naked and afraid.
we
We
didn't
got
get any
neither.
naked.
We didn't get afraid. We didn't get naked. Nobody stripped down. I'm very disappointed. He was our only hope.
So is he from where you live then, Melissa?
No, he's from Alberta. That's why
He's
we're dressed
not.
this
Yeah,
way.
we're country people. So we're dressed country for Alberta, and I'm drinking for Newfoundland for Rebecca.
There you go.
So
I'm still
Kirk,
mad about that.
do you want anything else that we want to say in homage to Chris and his game? Like obviously we've talked about the fact that he made a mistake. He's admitted that he made a mistake by stepping forward. Is there anything that he could have done to save himself in the game? Like we didn't really see that much of him, or yeah, like could he have
It's
done anything?
it's honestly so early on. Like it's hard
It
to
is,
build
yeah.
traction at this point. Like it's out of his control. It wasn't his fault. It's better that he got murdered than it was getting disqualified, because at least maybe down the road he has another shot. Maybe he learned a little bit from this. It's tough to go as the first person. Like honestly, it's so
Yeah.
much is. You go through the whole process. You get down there, you pack your
Mm.
bags, You go to another part of the country that you're not familiar with random people, and like to get there and then within 2 days be gone, it's
It's
100%
gut-wrenching.
devastating. And he'll be fine. He'll be fine. At least he's got another shot at it, right? He's not on the blacklist. So I got kudos for Chris. He's going to be back in the game at some point or another. You
I mean,
got to
I
get another
definitely
shot.
have no idea what his game style is. So I would want to see him again.
Absolutely.
Have you guys checked out his season of Naked and Afraid?
I have not.
I'm not, like I said, honestly, I'll be honest. Like,
No
this is the
reality
first
TV.
year that I watched Big Brother, and that's because Bruno got me into it. Other than that, I did attend one of the live tapings of Big Brother, and sure enough, it was Bruno's season. But
Hilarious.
So what, 5,
other
I
than
guess, or
that,
3?
what's that?
Which season of
It
his?
was the one with the Ginger Ninja, so I don't know what season that was.
3.
Then there you
So
go.
I think that he was more impressive in that season, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was like a crazy twist that got him out of that season.
Yeah, he was doing pretty well.
I
What
think.
was it in Final Five? I can't remember right now.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God,
can't remember.
my memory's gone. Even though I think
He was a dud.
Oh, shots fired! Shots
Bruno's
fired!
a dud. He knows he's a dud.
Oh no! What do you think about the twist here with Nick and Kira being related? Because when she comes into the breakfast room and her brother's there, and they make eye contact for a moment, and he's not sure yet if she's, a traitor or not. But
Okay, so we talked about it on the other podcast. Obviously, it's a disadvantage to everybody else. It's not fair. If he lasts long enough, he's clearly going to become a traitor. But at the same token, Kira is very emotional. She's going to let her emotions get to her. Hopefully, she stays in long enough to actually allow that to happen. That being said, I lost my train of thought. But
the siblings
yeah,
having an
I know you're talking
advantage.
about the siblings.
An advantage. It's
No, I lost
not
my
great
train of thought. I'm
You'll
so
remember.
disappointed.
Were you gonna
Oh
talk
my
about her
God.
emotions on like how she liked seeing him like work out and stuff like that? Like,
okay, so that's where
yeah,
I was getting at. So if Kira starts to let her emotions, like she did at the round table for her brother, and tries to watch out from way too much, the other traders, if they last long enough, are going to start to get super suspicious. So I think maybe production put that on to allow for some sort of a crazy twist to happen, or just based on their personalities and getting to know them through the casting call. Maybe they know that eventually, sooner or later, because she's such a good-hearted person, she might get herself caught. I was saying, if it does be known, how are the other traders going to take it? There's already controversy amongst the other traders. How much more heat is it really going to get?
I mean, I don't think they're going to say anything unless it's going to be to try to save somebody from going home, So maybe if her brother is on the line and everybody's wanting to vote him out, maybe she'll be like, no, you can't. He's my brother. Or like maybe to try. I don't know, but that could be bad for her game. So I don't know.
I want to see it come out in the most crazy way. Like, I want to see one of them just slip up, or like I don't know. I want it to come out. I want it to be public knowledge, and I want the heat to go right on both of them. I love it. I love seeing them brother and sister. I love the dynamic. It's the first, I believe, English speaking version where they had two people who know each other, where one was a traitor and one wasn't. And I want to see it crumble. I love tragedy and destruction in reality TV, and I want to see it crumble.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. So everybody except for Death Row comes into the breakfast room, and I wrote down the order that I thought that Chris was done for sure. So I thought that Lauren was going to come in first, then Enoch, then Dylan, then Kevin was the order that I thought that people were going to come in, with Chris being the one that was murdered. Was your list similar to mine? I guess, Mel, you definitely ended up with Chris being your
Chris is who I thought was going to be gone. I was kind of at the end. I was back and forth between Chris and Kevin, not Chris and Dylan, because I thought that Dylan really kind of he talks about it later that he did that on purpose at the round table, where he says that he created attention on himself purposely so that he'd be suspicious and wouldn't be murdered. So
what was that actually with Dylan thinking like 100% Kevin's a traitor? I don't know, like for what he said. I was like, where did that come from?
I don't understand why he thinks. I think maybe he has a good relationship with Kevin and he thinks that Kevin saved him. I don't really know why he was saying, he thinks Kevin is a traitor, but I think it's funny.
I also think it's hilarious how like loud and wrong Cedric is.
I'm obsessed with
He's-
Cedric, but I'm mad at him, but I'm obsessed with him.
Why are you mad now? Or is it something new or
Because
no?
Rebecca's gone. I'm blaming Cedric
Oh.
fully, but I'll get over it. But I think that he's so loud. He's so loud. He's so wrong. And like people were really suspicious of him at first, but it seems like it's completely switched now. And people are like, he's just a really bad, loud faithful. So either way, they're gunning for him. They want him gone. I loved Dylan at the round table though, and I might be skipping ahead, but I loved Dylan at the round table when he voted for Cedric, and he's like, "This is just a warning. You need to shut up."
Well, I was like,
I love
okay, maybe feel that way, but you kind of have to work with the people. Like, I would be like, okay, Cedric's loud, but like, I'd maybe corral him because I can tell that he's a good-hearted person. I can tell that he's actually just kind of trying to play the game, and he's just excited by it. I don't feel like he's harmful.
A comedian. He talks. They talk.
What do you think about Cedric, Dom?
He's a loud personality. It's either going to haunt him or it's going to bring him closer to the end. Eventually, we'll find out. I think maybe he did a little bit of studying and figured that if he talks a lot, it's hard to get rid of him because he becomes a pawn. Who knows? Who knows? We don't know really how much he went in depth with studying for this. Was it a last minute call where he's like, "Yeah, I'll do the show," or did he actually sit down and study it? Maybe he thinks that's the best game plan for him, considering his personality is loud and funny, and he's that type of guy that's got to be pretty much center of attention, which he was on that episode. And we'll see. I mean, I can't determine anything. I thought he was the first one gone.
Oh, really? Oh,
I did, but he wasn't on death row, so he got saved. Or was he on death row? I can't remember.
No,
he wasn't on death row.
So
he wouldn't have stepped forward. But that wasn't the move. So Trana thinks that a traitor would do a better job than Cedric. Shots fired. Brutal, but I actually agree. I don't think that he's acting like a traitor. Do you think he's acting like a bad faithful though, because of the fact that he's so loud?
He's just being himself. You can't, it's so hard to, I mean, from the outside, for people who really analyze it, it's easy to say, oh, they're terrible or they're good or those people know what they're doing or those people don't. When you're there, it's a totally different ball game. You know, he's there to entertain, he's doing his thing, and we'll only find out in time whether he's a good faithful or a bad faithful. I can't really make a judgment call just based on like the 2 episodes, right?
Well, how about Michael?
I'm not quick to judge.
Could you make a judgment call on Michael having a question, being like, if the traitors are sitting here right now, how do they feel? Do they even give a shit?
At the beginning, I was saying earlier, like, I had a flame like this for Michael. It was probably about that big. And after that episode, it's probably just on the wicker.
Yeah.
He's proving that he's probably not the Michael from season 1. I thought he was going to be. And he's definitely digging himself a grave. I think he's trying too hard to be a faithful, in which it's obviously turning out that he's a traitor. Like a lot of, like, honestly, like, I don't even think the first round table, like, was your name even said as a traitor? Like, 2 people already giving away his name.
Oh, mine? No, but they wanted to. I was going to be ambush night 1. And it's why I was so quiet at that table. I didn't say a thing.
So you got lucky.
Yeah, I sat down and shut up at that table because I knew something was amiss. But
then again, the 2 people that are catching on to Michael are, the other one I can't remember correctly, but Mike, he's an investigative podcast journalist or whatever the case may be. He follows obviously crime and he's on the ball. But do I feel like he fits in with the crowd? Maybe not. That's going to be his downfall
to make that happen.
If he was more part of the crew and, you know, the cool guys type thing, then he might be able to get his point across a little bit more. He's a smart guy, really smart guy. I just feel like his personality doesn't jive with the others and his point's not going to get across.
So Kevin thinks that it was a big mistake that the traitors kept him in the game. Do you feel this threat is going to follow through? Like, is he going to be the traitor hunter that he's kind of offering up to us?
No,
he's more Peter
vibes.
Well, he's what's that?
What vibes?
Like is it Pete or Peter from like the US season 2, like the
Oh,
traitor hunter
Peter.
bachelor guy?
I love
He's
Peter.
giving him, but like wannabe. Do you know what I mean? He's like, oh, I'm gonna catch them all. I'm like,
Well,
okay,
are you just
but,
saying
like,
that because they're
settle
both
down.
from the Bachelor Nation?
Well,
Huh?
because like Peter was so like, I am Mr. Faithful, like turned down the recruitment, like I'm in it, you know, to win it for the faithfuls and going really hard against the traitors. So I think that Kevin's like giving those vibes, like he's gonna know every single traitor and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, I'm not buying it. Not yet. It's episode 2, Kevin. Settle down.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely
You know?
not buying it yet. Tina is here. Hi, Tina.
Hey T.
We're definitely going to talk more about Michael at the end of this recap, but yes, Michael is definitely going to be a target. Very likely the first traitor out, with his over exaggeration of his reactions. Yes, he's just overplaying, and people will catch on soon. Yeah, we'll definitely talk more about what he could be doing better, maybe in his role as the
I
traitor.
apologize. I keep getting phone calls tonight. I don't know who it is.
Oh, is that what it
Oh
is?
my
It's phone calls?
gosh.
Do they know? Maybe they're seeing you on YouTube.
No,
Yeah.
and then this time around it actually froze out and I couldn't come back in, so I had to leave and come back. So I'm sorry I missed
Hilarious.
It's
that.
all good. It's all good.
We were reading what Tina said about Michael being the
Oh,
first
what I was
traitor
gonna
out.
say is he's more of a bachelor hunter, so he's looking for
Oh.
couples than he is for the traders. But then again, he's from Burlington or Hamilton, so he's my kind of guy.
Is he actually from Hamilton?
You
I know that
stand
he's
with
lived
him?
in Toronto, and he's right now lives in Burlington, which is, I guess, kind of on the way there.
So yeah, people just say that to get their shot on TV. Like that's just a hype man type thing. I mean,
Well, no, I know that for sure because he was on
He's got a bunch of
Bachelor
stuff.
Canada or Bachelorette Canada. He was the winner of Bachelorette Canada. So he dated the girl Jasmine, I think her name was, for I think a while. And then he went on Bachelor in Paradise, the US version, where he met his current wife. And then he moved her to Canada, where I believe that they were living in Toronto. I think they were living in Liberty Village, if I not mistaken. And I think a friend of mine was in the fire department with him, her husband, anyways.
she is the walking encyclopedia of reality TV.
I'm not a walking, but
my
I do know a
God.
lot about reality TV.
The only thing you left out is he is the cocktail bartender
And
on
Bachelor in
Bachelor in
Paradise Canada. Yeah, she
There you
started
go.
doing that season 2.
Yeah.
I do know a lot about reality TV. So anyways, so that's why I'm saying that I don't remember where he was from when he first did Bachelorette Canada, but he lived in Toronto at least for a bit. But I don't know if he's from Hamilton. So you might have
So
me
he
on
came
that
to
one.
the dark side. He came to the dark side.
So Netta thinks that Chris is the smartest play here. Like you see them go back to inside the, what are we calling it again? The
conclave.
Conclave. And it doesn't feel like Michael is really giving his input. It really does feel like Netta and Kira making these decisions, not really including him. He's just kind of nodding and saying
He's the odd
yes.
man out for sure.
Yeah. I think it's because he doesn't necessarily have the game mind in the same way that these two women do. And he's not, from what I'm seeing so far, that personable or that like able to like get along with the just random people. And I think that is kind of hurting him of fitting in and being able to play with these two women.
Michael and Mike are two no different. They both don't really jive with the youngins, and that's what's killing them.
I think the biggest issue in the conclave, and we saw it really come out tonight right before like the end of the episode, I think that Michael doesn't trust either of them. I think he knows he's the odd man out. He sees two of them getting along really well. And I think, like, let me tell you, when I was in the conclave and like as soon as I saw Kuzi and she wouldn't tell me about Kevin, like there was a whole thing, I immediately was like, I'm on my own in this. Like I felt really, really strange. And when you feel like you're alone, you kind of start to spiral. You start to look for other people, but you know that like these people know that you're a traitor. So like they could throw you under the bus at any point in time. And then you're trying to create relationships with other people to cling on to, maybe get a different traitor out and pull somebody in. But when you feel like you're one and like they're together and you're alone, you spiral. And I think that's what's happening with him. I think he doesn't trust the other two traitors. He knows he's the odd man out.
But you
and
gotta
he's
make
scared.
friends with them because they're the ones that are gonna.
Oh, he's
keep
doing the
you.
wrong thing. He put his foot down on this murder. I'm like, oh my God.
Mel,
But I think he's panicked.
Mel, can you confirm or deny what was the rule behind if not all three traitors agreed to vote the same person?
So it never came to that. But
Okay.
I would imagine that they would just get really angry at us and be like, make a decision.
So
but I feel like it's
essentially,
Well, it would have been 2-1. They
Yeah.
would just be. I
Like-
think we'd be able to strong arm it.
yeah, at some point, like, the votes are the votes, but I believe it was, we were supposed to all agree. So I guess if it gets to a point where there's 2-1, it's gonna just be a game of chicken to see who caves first. I would imagine. Probably similar to the 5 that had to step forward, like, we need people on death row. Nobody's going to bed until somebody gets on death row.
So they
It's
probably
very
would
similar
just
in the conclave.
change it up and just do somebody else completely different that they could all agree on, and then try to get them out next episode or next day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Start planting those seeds.
Be like,
and
okay, we can't work with this guy. He's got to go.
especially with 2 votes on him already, it's not going to be that hard if the other traders want to throw him under the bus.
So, do you love Corinne, Dominic, as the host? Like, how did you vibe with her? Like, how do you feel about her?
Corinne didn't vibe with me.
Oh,
I don't know. No,
That's not true.
Honestly, when I went back there for the beginning of season 2, we had a little talk. A lot of the camera guys laughed when they seen me. So I did leave a mark. It wasn't obviously the worst mark, but some people did have a good time. Corinne never vibed with me. You know why? I was that person that wasn't feeding into the Corinne's so beautiful and
She is,
Corinne's
though.
my girl. And I was more giving Corinne the death stare. Like that was me. Like you want to be you want to be scary. I could be scary too, girl. You coming for me, I'm coming for you, type thing. So we didn't mesh. She meshed more with a lot of other people than me for sure.
Oh no! So you weren't excited to see her and her outfits this season? You're like, nah.
Nah,
You're not a big fashion guy.
no.
I love Corinne. Oh, that's so sad.
She did remember me. She was nice. Did she follow me back on Instagram? No. So that means there's obviously something there.
But does she handle her own Instagram? I'm just asking.
I don't know. Everybody
she
else
not
got to
follow
follow.
you?
Everybody else got
Wait,
to
does she
follow
follow
so
you?
clearly,
I'm
she didn't like me that
checking.
much.
Oh no!
I'm checking.
Well, after she comes in, knock, knock, knock. She talks about the mission is upon you. How did you like the missions of your season and in general? Like, was that something that you really enjoyed, or did you more so like the getting to know people? Like, what was your favorite part?
Everything legitimately happened so quick. Getting to know people so difficult. And I felt like the challenge we did was a lot more explosive. This one was more a little bit laid back and relaxed. Like, I don't know, we had that big bang, right? They had the bang, but it was kind of like an apparent it's gonna happen bang type thing. But they do gotta change it up, right? You can't have the same things over and over. They need something new and exciting. I find that the challenges or missions, whatever you want to call them, essentially just fill up some of the airtime, but also create conflict amongst the cast.
And
that's
also
what it's
give a
designed to do.
reason to maybe vote someone out or banish them. Like, they don't help bring money to the pot. Let's get rid of them. Or they do. Let's keep them. So
They're good for building relationships too. Like in those times, depending on what team you're on, like sometimes they're really good for like getting that teamwork and doing things together, like you say, to piss each other off or to really get together and like create new relationships. But my favorite thing about the challenges are the car rides to and from. I think they're really important.
The car rides weren't a fan of you. They got you right out.
Yeah,
the door.
listen. Season 2, I'm a fan. Season 1 can kick rocks. Season 1, we don't talk about. I do like watching them.
Biggest downfall was that your dream finally came true and you let the dream become too big.
I was too excited. Yeah,
you were 100%. Because like you're very social, you're approachable, you're a people person. You have a lot of good traits that would have taken you far. I feel like the moment became too big, too fast, and you just were just like,
I'm too excited about things.
Yeah.
That's me. Always. too excited.
That's
And
why I
that's
got
fine.
the.
It is
That's
what it
why,
is.
you know what, off episode 1, the vibe I got is I felt like Kira was you. She's overexcited. She's bubbly, great personality,
I
vibes
did
with
feel that
people.
after.
But I would have to say though, Netta, who I do think is a really great strategist. I really loved her on her first season of Big Brother. I'm excited to see her play as a traitor. She thinks that Kira is an A+ traitor, and so I actually like can appreciate Netta's perspective. So Netta thinks she's doing pretty okay. Maybe we're just seeing like the vivacious and gregarious personality, but
I think
maybe
it
on that
has to
end
do
it
as
works.
well. I think it has to do as well too with like nobody's suspicious of her. Like I was over the top confident and excited and not throwing out names. Like I could go back and dissect my game for you a million times, right? But like I
You
had
do that
so
once.
many like
Just go
wrong things.
shoot
I
your
do.
game.
Are you because I'm doing this? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm saying, yeah, yeah,
Actually,
you're right. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, you're
Like
right. Yeah.
exactly, right? So like like I was just so excited and like I didn't throw out names of other people and I was really confident and I always knew I was going to be there. Like I was playing as a traitor. Kara is excited to be a traitor and she's got like the confidence and like the same qualities that I had in that sense, but she's throwing out names and she's better at acting like a faithful. So, there are similarities, but she's a really good traitor in Netta's eyes because nobody suspects her. Everybody's like, there's no way she could lie. She's too sweet. She's definitely, a faithful.
I guess it's a little bit more controversial than I thought, because I wasn't getting that vibe. I got that vibe like Netta's like, yo, you could stay close, but you ain't gonna get close enough. You're gonna be gone when I get a
well,
chance.
I definitely think that Netta's
Oh, Netta's
clocked
gonna
her,
cut her. Yeah.
but I think that she's impressed that she's not maybe as bad as we'll say Michael is. I think is where she's going
Poor Michael,
with
the
that.
wicked
I,
is down
s-
to here.
I
Oh,
still think Kara's gonna go home before Michael.
That's what
I
I'm
I
saying.
know.
That's what
I
I'm
really
saying.
do. Yeah. Because I
I
think Netta is going to slowly start to plant some seeds about Kara. Very, very
it
like
really depends on what happens this next episode. If he makes it through this next episode, and maybe then Netta sees the value in keeping him because, she sees that Kira has a lot of the relationships and maybe a lot of influence, then maybe she'd be like, she has too much influence. That means that she could probably get rally people to go after me.
yeah.
Let's work with Michael now
But
and maybe
like
get her out. So
if you think about it, if you're there with two traders and you're a trader, people probably don't suspect you or medium suspect you or whatever. And one of the traders, nobody is suspecting you at all or her at all. And the other one has a little bit of heat on them. You want the one with heat on them to stick around. You want to start spreading seeds about the one that everybody trusts very subtly so that you can get that person out. Because if you keep the other one there, they're a target before you. So you want to always have a target in front of you. And if there's somebody who's better insulated than you need to get that person gone because you want to be the one at the end,
it
right?
just
So
might
I
be
do think
hard for her to do
Netta's
that
it's
because
not gonna
It's
be
she is so
easy.
likable.
it's
And nobody
so
thinks she's a traitor right now.
tricky though, because like planting those seeds can backfire so easily
It's
in
true.
this
It's such a
game,
crazy
because
game.
like you can plant those seeds and then those people, you don't know how close with the other they are with the other people, and then before you know it, it's turning on you and you're like, uh-oh, what did I do? Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
such a fine line. The game is so much more detailed than people really think it is, and it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely so much easier to talk about it from here than it
Of
is to
course.
be
That's what I'm
in
Isn't
there.
it
saying.
fun though? It's so much more fun to be like, man, they suck.
Sure, I can go to bed at night, not not
Yes.
thinking about it all night. Like, you had the opportunity to go pick and choose who was getting killed. I was in my room going, I hope they
You're
don't kill me.
like, Dom, you don't watch the challenge, right? Or did you watch season 2 of the US?
Don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, so Mel, have you seen the challenge? You know what the challenge is?
I know what the challenge is, yes.
Because you watched season 2, so you have an idea of the show. So it's another
Yeah.
competitive reality show where it is strategic, and they also do things like missions that are a little bit more like Big Brother is kind of carnival games. The challenge has a little bit more epic ways to like challenges within the game. And so AK here is wondering if you think it's fair to cast these players that are really familiar with social strategy, really familiar with doing these, high impact and difficult challenges and tasks to play the game of the Traitors. And this is coming because final 2, spoiler alert, plug your ears if you plan on watching season 2 of the USA, was 2 people from the challenge ended up winning and splitting the money. So I think this is why AK is asking this.
Like those people coming into the Traders game, I think they bring an element of entertainment for sure.
Mhm.
Having the ability to, been down the road, seen the red lights a couple times, they know what they're working with, brings a lot more for the show itself. Do I think that they make a big impact? Not really. It depends if they're a faithful or a traitor. And I mean, once you're actually put into that realm, whether you're a faithful or a traitor, then your game totally changes. Like, I
It's
don't know,
true.
you could talk to Mel B. Like, we both didn't come from this type of show. We're
Mm-hmm.
also not, we're intelligent people. And you go in with a mindset, but the mindset changes as soon as you see all the other personalities in there. Like,
So true.
I went into it right away going, okay, this is how I'm going to play. Once I started seeing all the characters, I go, oh, I might not vibe with that person. I might not build a relationship with that person. They're not really up my alley. Like, it changes. So bringing those types of people in brings an element of entertainment. Do I think that gives them an upper hand? Not really. If you're a trader, you get more of a high probability to make it to the end, regardless. The traders, I said it time and time again. We all can't make it to the end, so we just got to help each other, push each other to the end, and whoever makes it, we got to God bless them, because not everybody's
Mm-hmm.
going to be there. So I don't think it makes that big of a deal, in my opinion.
So
I
Olivia
also
says,
don't
not
think
sure
it's
those two
unfair.
from the challenge would make it in the Canadian version. It's a different culture.
I think personally, it doesn't really matter what show people come from. I think the Traitors is its own realm. There is no show on TV like it. Like I went into Traitors trying to play Big Brother. Like I
Mhm.
went in with my Big Brother strategy, make friends, do this, do that, and like the Traitors itself is a game fully based on paranoia. It's not just, yes, it's about politics and knowing how to have relationships and do physical challenges and whatever, but it is at the end of the day, a game that is based around paranoia. Hey, three of you are bad. Figure out who it is. And everybody, traitors are going to turn on traitors. Traitors are going to turn on faithful. Faithful are going to turn on each other. It's not a game like any other. It's in its own realm, which is why I think it's so popular. And I think that you could take people from any culture, any show, any career, and they would all play the game differently. And if you put them all in different casts, it would be completely changed again. So I don't think
Absolutely.
that there's an advantage or a disadvantage. The only advantage I think they would get is that they'd probably start creating alliances faster than
Well,
somebody who
knowing
hasn't
that
done
that's
it before.
helpful for
Yeah,
sure. And maybe
yeah,
be able to read some people's lies or tells or know when
exactly.
maybe people are talking about them, like have that sense because they've experienced it before.
Yeah, but other than
Okay,
that, there's not really an
we
advantage.
haven't talked much about who we're paying homage to today. Your Newfoundland girly Rebecca. So people are sus of Rebecca. Seems
I'm
like
so mad.
Cedric was throwing her name out last episode. This episode we see that Kirkland really thinks it's Rebecca and wants to have a talk with her, and kind of everybody is seemingly feeling like she is a traitor now.
Yeah,
What have we not seen, do you think? Because I know that
it's
they're all a lot
so
of them are saying that like she just looked different when she came back from when they took off the blindfolds, but I haven't really seen her do that much. Is it just an easy vote?
I think
It's
so
the herd
personally.
mentality.
It's
Mm.
as soon as there's a target on you, traitor or not, you're like up top for, you're gonna get votes on you because literally anything you do, it's like when you hate somebody. Do you ever see the meme where it's like, look at Becky eating those fucking crackers like she owns the place? You know what I mean? Like when you hate somebody,
You
anything
can
they do will piss you off.
yeah.
And it's like that with traitors. Once somebody throws a name out there and there's a little bit of suspicion, anything they do then becomes suspicious. And then it's like it's evidence now of why you're a traitor. So I think with Rebecca, I mean, she went in, she made so many connections so quickly. That was what was suspicious. They were like, oh, but you're so confident and happy and you have so many friends. And she's like, I'm from the East Coast. Like I'm a newfie. It's just our like,
How she
how we're
is.
bred. We're just outgoing and loud and happy. And it really is like a way of life over here. And I feel like, I don't know, this is 2 for 2 getting out early. Like, is it just our personality
Maybe
is not right for
because
the
you're
show?
rooting for
Like,
her, like
oh,
she got
dude,
killed.
I was so upset to see her go so quickly because I really think there was no actual reason to believe that she was a traitor other than the fact that she made friends so quickly. And I feel like that's what should have gotten her to stay in longer because she had these connections. But was it Kirkland who said even at one point that like he also didn't want to see like this girl thing happening? like this Click Girls Alliance or something. It might not have been Kirkland, but
he
somebody
was
did
making
say
it
something like that.
he was making it quite apparent to, I think it was Jasmine, that like, hey, listen, like, this is all the evidence, she's a traitor. And then Jasmine was kind of like, well, if she does go out and you're wrong, well, you're gonna be next on my list. So yeah, he was going around pushing the envelope on her. This game, honestly, if your name comes up, there's nothing you can do throughout the
Stopping that.
entire day that's gonna change it. You could talk at the round table till you're blue in the face or you lose oxygen. It's
true.
Everybody who's a faithful at that point goes, well, it's not me.
Yep.
Bye-bye. It's not me. Bye-bye. So
now, what do you think about Kira standing up for her friendship with Rebecca and kind of confronting some of these other players, being like, especially Cedric, being like, hey, like, stop coming after my girl? Do you think this is good? Do you think it helps her as a traitor? Do you think it helps her, positioning as herself as a faithful? Like, what do you think of this as a part of her game strategy?
the way that she went about it, emotional and the whole 9 yards, everybody's going to think, well, Rebecca was a faithful. Kira's got to be a faithful if they were
100%.
so close.
Yeah.
So
it
yes, it was
solidifies her even more. Like, she's doing
I don't
great.
think it was a thought out thing. I think it was
She actually just really liked her.
But the people might think she was the faithful. She's got to be a faithful too, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it was good for a game.
Well, she doesn't like people coming for her friends. So I guess that's also a good thing too, to show her loyalty to a certain extent. So if she wants to make some other friends and connections, they'll know that, like, hey, like, the people that she trusts, the people that she likes, the people that she's working with, she's going to go to bat for them. So I think that also could be strong for even Netta to see that, like, hey, like, she might be considerate of my game here if we become good friends. So
well, Netta should be like, oh, if Kira keeps doing this and I stick by her side, she's just gonna keep carrying me along, and my name's not even gonna be said, right? So,
but I don't think Netta trusts Kara.
No,
Kara loves Netta.
But
Kara's like, we are going to the end, but Netta's like, I don't trust you. John did this to me already. This is not happening again.
If she's that hard of a game player and she really analyzes the game for the game, she's gonna pawn on top of the back of that rook, and she's gonna follow that rook to the end until it comes time where she has the shot to take her out. Or maybe she's gonna say, hey, you know what? Unlike the other traders from season 1, I'm okay with sharing the pot. So who knows?
Netta's not okay with sharing the pot. I don't think Netta will share the pot.
I would have left with no money before I shared that pot. I think I would have. I've thought about it a lot.
Oh my gosh, went home broke. Oh my goodness. I mean, I want to see it, but yeah, that would be very hard for me to do. I think I'd.
Well, I would have shared as a faithful Dom.
I would have shared as a traitor too.
I think I would. Depends on the trader and if we got along and if we were working really well together.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
If I didn't care about them, I'd just be like, yeah, you helped me get here, but it's because I put aside my dislike for you to get us to the end, and now, like, you've served your purpose. Get out of here.
If a second time came around with Kuzi or Mike, I absolutely would share with them. But at the time, I didn't trust either one of them, and I would have fucking went home broke.
Sure, you know them more now on a deeper.
That's true. It's true. You don't know people when you go into this game.
So Tina says, I think that when a name comes into discussion early on, it becomes an easy vote, and then there's not too much evidence to go on early for the faithful. So any name is a vote. Yeah, no, absolutely.
100%.
Tina, you got it, girl.
Push that in the other direction.
Put Tina in the show.
Yes,
Season 3, please. Heather,
probably you're going to call already.
To us.
I did find that when Cedric was saying, like, if you get emotional and attached to it, it could be a problem. I was like, you kind of have to be a little bit softer. Like, you're not
kind of traitor vibes with that.
I was like, these people are acting emotionally right now, which you're clocking, great. But, like, then you maybe want to be a little more gentle with how you're approaching, how they're feeling. So I thought that was a little bit insensitive of Cedric, but he just is himself.
Cedric, he's so himself, but he's also like, he looks and seems super young, but you got to remember his son is 30. Like, the man he's a grown man. He's got a grown child. He's been through a lot of shit in his life, I'm sure. So, like, he's in here saying, guys, this is a game. You are getting way too worked up and way too attached to these people. We've been here 4 days. Settle down or you're going to lose the game. And I think, obviously, yes, he needs to say that in a better way, or they're just going to send him home because it makes him seem like he doesn't care. And then if he is a traitor, he'll just cut me anyway. But, like, I see, like, I understand where he's coming from and trying to do that, but he needs to be softer because
You can only kind of talk like that with people that like you. You can't
exactly
talk like that
you
with
gotta
people
build
that are not
base.
your friend.
100%.
So Nichelle and Netta are talking about Mike, and Mike, he's missing his cat, and they're wondering if he's just like an actor
I
or
love
if he's
Mike.
really feeling this way. And I'm like, I don't think that Mike is long for this world. He's too sweet, and I
Isn't
don't
he
know if he
dumb?
has the
He's
cutthroat mentality to be able to actually get his point across, like get people to do what he says.
he's a homebody that quick. He's only been there for 3 days.
Mhm.
Oh
No, I'm so
Maybe
extroverted. I
4.
don't get it
Maybe
personally,
4.
but like I love making friends. And so it's just surprising to me that somebody that's
I
on a
think
show like this is just doesn't
I
get it.
think he doesn't feel like he fits in. Like he's
Yeah.
having a hard time finding like his group of people. So it's very
Talk
likely that
about
like
things that you love and get
yeah,
people on, like, I'm super interested in what he does. Like what he has
he's got the coolest job
a
ever.
paranormal podcast host. Like
Mhm.
that's one of my dream life jobs. Like I
Are
love
you guys
that.
talking about Mike or Michael?
Mike.
Mike.
Well, they both have similar jobs.
The one with
Oh.
the big mustache.
Yeah, that's Mike.
The one who's not a
the
traitor.
investigative one. Michael's the paranormal one.
Right, but
Oh,
but it's
yeah,
paranormal
Mike is true
stuff
crime.
true crime. Sorry. It's not
Oops.
paranormal at all.
No, Michael's the paranormal activist or
But-
extortionist or something.
Right.
Dom's our fact checker.
No, like Mike's gonna be in here like, I
Hey,
don't read that.
I'm
True
just listening.
crime.
I'm clearly,
We're
I'm
gonna
paying
get more
attention.
messages.
I
We're
feel
gonna
like
get so many
he
messages.
was both though. Maybe I'm mixing it up with another, because there's so many people that do podcasts, and I feel like I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but
Hey, don't hate on
anyways,
me.
he
Hey,
still
don't.
talks
I'm
to
paying
people.
attention. I am paying attention.
Thank
are paying
you. Thank you for
attention. Fact
schooling us
checker
here,
Dom.
fact checking Mike. But anyways, he does talk about something he loves. I love true crime. I do as well. I listen to true crime astrology podcasts, and I think it's really fascinating. I would find something to connect with him on that's in his lane. And so I wish that he would just use that as an opportunity to have a talking piece, unless he's not allowed to talk about
I
it.
feel like too, though, I feel like sometimes, especially like in these games, people, and you see it all the time with Big Brother, people will connect on a different level, sometimes just by looking at each other. They're like,
Yeah.
we're going to get along together. We're going to get along together. And people like will go off in these little pods and these little groups. And if you're an outsider or if you're a little bit different or you don't fit into the general mold, it becomes a lot harder to break that surface.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you'll get a group of people over there being like, why is Mike over by himself and not talking to us? Meanwhile, they're all together actively talking about how he's not coming over instead of just bringing him in. So I feel like if you're in these games and everybody's suspicious anyway, and they're looking for any reason to send anybody home and you don't feel like you fit in, sometimes you just end up falling into that role where people will start saying things about you because you just can't break through that barrier, right?
Well, I mean, at the same token too, like Rick said it himself. I don't know if you were there for his banishment or not, but he's like, this was great being back in high school, but I'm a faithful. And so like,
it's
he's
true.
probably
It's very
going in
high
there and
school.
going, high school, that was 4 decades ago.
Rick, it was like 5 or 6 for Rick. Come on, Rick is old.
So like,
He's not
I don't know
that
how old Mike
old.
is, but it could have been 4 decades ago. And he's thinking to himself, wow, I'm in over my head with this one.
Well, it's true. Like, Dom, you had said it to me at one point when we were there. Like, I remember, I don't know, I think it might have been the Fierce, Donna, Colin, whatever situation that was going on. And at one point I went to you and I was like, Dom, what's happening? Like, can you tell me what everybody was just fighting about over in this room? And you were like, listen, like you full on put your hands up. You were like, listen, I'm not here for any of this high school, he said, she said bullshit. If you want to tell me about your family, you can tell me about your family, but I'm not going to talk about anybody behind their back. And do you remember I was like, do you know what game this is? Like,
Oh yeah,
but it was because it gets very high schooly very fast, and they're designed like that, right?
And that's what makes it difficult for someone who's of an older age.
Older.
And considering he's in this crime thing, it's a lot more
I love that.
intellectual and mature, and yeah, it could be hard for him for sure. But I think there's another woman there that's of his age group. Is it Lauren or Lori? He should connect with her.
Lori, the school teacher? I think she's younger. Maybe Mary Jo might be around closer to his age. I think.
Yeah.
Cedric does tell Mike that his name is going around, and Mike gets upset. I do feel
That was
bad for
me.
Mike. I wish that he had somebody that would see that he's not fitting in and that he's having a little bit of a hard time and just bring him in.
That
Be like,
was
hey,
me with
Yeah.
buddy.
Donna, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, Donna, our psychic.
I took her under my wing, girl. And you were there too. You were there too. But you were a traitor.
I
So,
was. I loved you too.
yeah.
You guys were great. You were
Somebody's got to do it because
my
if
squad.
they do bring those people in, they're the type of people that are going to be the biggest loyalty factors of the
It's
game.
true.
They will go to means end to protect and help you out. They should definitely go and recruit Mike as a faithful and make him join their team because those are the people you can trust. Doesn't
Even just
matter.
keeping
They're
him
gonna
as
be
a
honest.
friend right now, like Netta should be like she notices Mike. She obviously feels bad for him. She should be bringing him in now and befriending him because
It's probably in the back of her mind, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Because I don't think that she's gonna just allow him to be voted out because he's not fitting in. I think that she'll be able to see the value in him, and even if maybe he talks about who his suspects are, maybe she'd be like, "Oh, interesting."
Well,
She
she
could
could use
Maybe
that.
she'll use that to
Yeah,
push him
to
out.
get Mike. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I agree with you. She can use him. Yeah, for sure.
So in the car, Netta is curious about why Rebecca, and I think that this was also a really smart play on her behalf to be very faithful, like being like, "Why Rebecca? Like I haven't seen these things," so she could hear more from real faithfuls as to what little things that she did that's making her suspect. So I was loving that Netta was just curious. It's like, so why Rebecca? I thought she played that pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. That was a really good move.
Did you roll your eyes when Corinne came in on a horse, Dominic?
No, they got to make her look good on anything she comes in. So I mean,
I
she's not.
loved it personally.
She's not my go-to girl. You girls are more my go-to girls with those cowboy hats on. You could have rode
Like
that horse a lot better. Don't worry about it.
this doll. Put Dawn back on TV. What is happening?
Would you
Nah,
do another show? You said no, right?
hey, listen, I got told that once something like that happens, you're on the blacklist and that's it. So my time's done.
Phaedra
Unless
from UST season 2 was on the blacklist from her show, as far as I've heard, forever when she got Traitors. You'll be fine. And now she's back on that show.
Well, we'll have to wait till I'm 40 and then I'll be Mike again, going back in there going, oh my God, with these kids again.
Yeah, but I think that you'd still be extroverted and find a way to connect.
Yeah.
So they're going to be doing pulling around a Trojan horse, and the Trojan horse is her favorite because it's a glorious example of betrayal. And so basically, they're going to be pulling this horse around, answering 10 questions. Every correct answer that they get some gold, which is $1,000. There's 10 questions, if I didn't say it. And if it's wrong, it's going to be sand that you're going to have to put into the Trojan horse, where they have to carry this sandbag as well. They have 20 minutes, and apparently the traitors provided the questions and the answers. Now, do you think this was fair? Do you think that if they provide the questions, maybe it should have been a majority rules type thing with the faithfuls with their answers? Like, how do you feel like they executed this challenge?
I think the challenge was cool. The traitors being the ones to answer the question was stupid. Like, I don't know. Like, it made it difficult for everybody. It made it difficult for the traitors to be like, some questions they needed to answer right, some they needed to answer wrong. Like, it made them have to act a lot harder during the mission. And it made it harder for the faithful too, because like Netta said, that they answered the questions truthfully. It's just that everybody else got them wrong. But there's no such thing as wrong when it's an opinion. Like, it was a majority thing. And I think that what they should have done was what we've seen on other seasons, where they give everybody cards, everybody fills it out, and then as a team, you have to guess what the majority said.
Yeah.
When you just have traitors giving the answers,
you don't know who the traitors are.
It's so random, and there's no clue there to give you who the traitor would be. So I thought that part was stupid, but I did enjoy the challenge itself.
I mean, the only question I have is, did production give them the questions and give them the names?
I think
they might be saying that the traitors did this, but it was.
I think the traitors picked a multiple choice.
Yeah, but like what I'm thinking is that they overheard all the conversations amongst the first day, and then put together the questions, and then also gave them the 3 choices, which at that point they had to decide, okay, which one would be best for us to pick so people wouldn't catch on to us.
Yeah.
I
right?
do think that they must have picked the names as well, because I found some of them
It had
to
to.
me did not seem like they suited the category that they were up for. So I thought that was to cause a little bit more confusion potentially.
I feel like production would have picked that though, because my thought process at first was like, well, the traders aren't gonna like ever want to throw their names in. So like I feel like production probably asked the question, gave a multiple choice answer, and then the trader had to pick what name.
Yeah.
And then everybody read the question, had to decide who the trader said. You know what I mean? Like,
Now, just actually looking at all the questions, Netta was in one question, I believe, but everybody, like the other traders, weren't in any of the questions, I don't think.
isn't
No, I
that
don't think they
suspicious
were.
too? Like,
That's really
I don't know.
sus.
Yeah, like it just feels like I didn't enjoy. I love when people get asked questions about
Of
like
course, I want you
blaming
to
other people.
see
Like that's
you got your
so
finger on the
good.
pulse with what's going on, what your people that you're
Yeah.
working with and
And it
playing
gives
with
you an
think.
idea of like what people think of you. And like I think
100%.
that's I love those, but I think they just missed the mark by having just the traders answer the
Now, do
questions.
you think it's to make it a little bit more difficult for the traders? So the producers were like, do you know what? The traders kind of have an easier gig here. They have
Mhm.
all the information. So let's make it harder for them. So that we're not going to have them be names on any of these questions for the most part. And
Mhm.
they're going to have to pretend like they don't know what the answer is. So it just makes them have
Yeah.
to work a little harder. Maybe
It's
that was
so
the intention.
it's
Could
so
have been.
crazy how they go about it the way they do, and nobody can catch on that's there as a contestant. But from at home, it's like it's
I
so
know.
Oh
obvious,
yeah.
Of
you
course.
know,
Of
like
course.
it's crazy. And like that happens in real time, like real time.
It's
You think
so
it's so
wild.
easy, but really it's not. And it's like the way that they design it, they got your brain going in so many different directions that like
Mhm.
the things that are so obvious become like not obvious. And like it just I find it crazy that how they did that. I agree with Chantel 100%. I just find it crazy how no one picks up on these subtle things. Like
Hmm.
Mhm.
it's
So,
crazy.
question number one is, which guest wields the most influence over the group? And the three choices are Enoch, Cedric, and Mary Jo. I believe the answer is Cedric, but they all chose Enoch, and I would choose Enoch from what I've seen on the show, especially
Yeah.
since everybody's like Cedric. We don't listen to him. He's annoying. He's
Cedric just
loud.
doesn't stop talking. He doesn't necessarily have influence. He
I don't think
just
that people are
says a
buying what
lot.
he's selling over there. So
Yeah.
I was surprised by the actual response, which is why it should be a majority rules, not a traders decide.
Mhm. If
So
it's for money, you know what I mean? Like it's to earn money in the pot, then it should be the majority guessing, not
I would
anyway.
think.
If they keep
I
going
thought
down
that was
this road,
dumb.
they ain't gonna have any money in the pot. There's no point in playing the game.
I
Okay, I
mean,
have a question for you guys. Do you think that that was
yes.
done purposely by production so they wouldn't win that challenge?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, I think
Cause
that
like
they're always going to give them an opportunity to make up to close to $100,000. I don't think that they're going to let them just
But
win
they want
5,000.
them to lose some challenges. Like I'm still convinced. I'm still convinced that we got a bum map from that buried alive challenge. I'm telling you right now, all of us could not read it. We read it
you
wrong. We
guys never
could
went to
not
Girl
get
Guides,
anywhere.
that's why.
I know. I think, and I will stand by it. Our map was bogus. We got a bogus map, and I think that was done on purpose that one team would lose because you can't have them win every
Oh, there would
single
be
challenge.
some
There
drama
needs to be
there.
impossible, challenges. And I really think, like, when I saw this, I went, it feels like it was done so they would lose. Like, I don't know.
I
It's in
mean
step with our season too.
they
Second
had the
challenge
they
lost.
had the opportunity to get to the finish line. They decided to go for another bit of coins there.
Mhm.
They made a decision. They listened to, I believe it was Dylan or somebody along those lines. So they could have won. And you and I both know that the times that are given on TV
Yeah.
they're not reflective on the
There's,
actual set. So
there's
But like,
suggestions.
did they, even if they did win, it might have been like because of the way that the questions were done with the traders being
They wouldn't
doing
win
it or
any
whatever,
money.
they probably would have won like maybe 2 or 3 grand, right? You know what I mean? Like they're set up so that people, you're not going to win every single challenge. Like it's impossible to win every single one.
Well, the question number two is, which guest is the least trustworthy? Choices were Mike, Michael, or Gail. And I was kind of like, Gail's not trustworthy? Really?
who Michael swindled a lucky one out of that one because he put himself up there, so you didn't have to be part of the herd for question 2. If he was there, he would have been sweating.
That's true. That's part that actually. So Mike
Yeah.
takes the heat there. I didn't write if they won any money for that one. I'm not sure. Number 3, which guest tells the most lies? They choose Rebecca, Mary Jo, and Dylan. I was like,
Rebecca,
what?
leave Rebecca alone.
Oh.
And Dylan. I think Dylan's going to be a really fun character this season.
I think that he might rub people the wrong way.
I think he's going to be loud and aggressive. I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Like, maybe him and Cedric might go head to head. Question number 4 is, which guest is the most useless in hunting for traitors? So Lori, Pac-Man, and Jasmine. I'd have to agree with all 3 of those because we haven't seen any of them in any of these episodes yet.
Agreed.
0.
They choose Jasmine. They get the sandbag bag. I probably would have chosen Lori because I haven't seen her on the show.
I like Lori.
Yeah,
she's playing a smart, faithful game. So I'm gonna have to go Pac-Man on that one.
All right.
Lori's checking on everybody's, 5-year-old lie telling capabilities. Kindergarten lie detector.
Which guest is trying the hardest to play under the radar? Aaron, Trana, or Kevin?
Did they say Aaron for that? I feel like that it would be Aaron because he's been pretty quiet.
I agree with you on that one, Aaron. Yeah, he's had a little.
Aaron.
He had a couple segments here or there, but I feel like
I had to go like I when he was talking to Cedric earlier on the episode, I put down. Oh, sorry, not Cedric. Haynock. I put down Haynock and blank are talking, and I had to wait till I maybe saw him again to be able to like fill in the blank of what his name was. So
yeah. Aaron. That's our Aaron.
I will remember now that he's Aaron because like when I saw his name, I'm like, oh right, Aaron. But...
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he's not saying a whole lot.
And so Melissa wants everybody to show of hands of who they want, and then they choose wrong. So it didn't really work having the group consensus on what they think that the traitors might have picked.
It just doesn't make sense. Number
6, which guest would gain the most by speaking less? I mean, everybody in unison said Cedric.
That was such a good one. That was so funny.
They want some money. See, like Cedric won them some money.
Listen, he is useful. Guys, Cedric could still win this game.
I'm not selling him out yet. Like he has totally capable.
I think the Faithful's got a better shot this year.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. But yeah, I do. I do think that
I feel like there's going to be a crumble inside that conclave, and it's going to allow for the Faithfuls to take it. I just have a weird feeling.
So which guest is continuing on about their is lying about their identity? Lori, Michelle, or Aaron?
They all said Lori, right?
And yeah, they don't believe that she is a kindergarten teacher. They get the sandbag. Which guest is the most determined to win at all costs? They put Lori, Dylan, and Netta. Dylan is wrong. The wrong answer there, which is what they choose. Which guest will not make it to finale night? They choose Mike, Kirkland, and Dylan. I was like, shots fired.
So hold on a sec. For that question previous to this one, I wonder if the right answer was Netta. And I wonder what would have happened if they would have guessed Netta right. Because if the traitors did make the decision on the answers to the questions, I wonder if they would have picked Netta for that one.
Or maybe they would pick Dylan because he's been, kind of vocal at the round table, maybe a little bit. Maybe.
I think that would have been a little bit more of a twist there. That would have been make some a little bit better of TV because maybe she would have been shaking in her boots a little bit.
But then she would have had to.
It's hard to make Netta shake.
Somebody's got to make her shake, and I'm down to go make her shake.
Oh! Which guest would make the best traitor? Is that the question? Melinda, Mary Jo, or Gail? They do get some gold here by choosing Gail. Then we hear Dylan telling Kirkland to shut the F up. And I was like, whoa, okay, there's a little friction happening here. Yikes.
I'm enjoying Dylan.
But in the end, they did not make it to the finish line, which I don't know. Like, do we need to have them lugging this damn Trojan horse for 20 minutes and then not win the $2,000 that they
It looked so hard, too. Like, that looked like a rough challenge.
That was the most smelliest car ride home ever.
You know it was though.
They
Like,
should
and
have.
then they weren't allowed to shower then before like they had their little drink. They had to go talk about it after. Like everybody stunk until fucking round table, guaranteed.
Production better have brought the antiperspirant.
Yeah.
Oh my
They need to
god.
have
They could have had
perfume baskets.
or product placement because we love product placements in Canada.
Mhm.
So
There you go.
We got Nissan, we got Jacob's Creek again this episode.
get some secret or degree. Kieran, though, was really proud and happy that her brother was like so good at the challenge. He never sweats, and he was sweating doing this challenge, and it was almost bringing a tear to her eye how proud of her brother she was. So it looks like she must be the older sister.
I thought that was a really sweet moment. Like I thought that was really, it was really cute. Like I like the fact that they do have each other, and then it does add this twist where she wants to be like, oh my God, look at you sweating for the first time, but then like caught herself and being like, hey, I just met this guy 3 days ago. I can't say things like that. So I do like the element, I do like the twist, and it's sweet.
It's probably
really
gonna ruin her game, though. She's gonna like, will she fall on the sword for her
100%.
brother? I know she said she'd cut him, but
I don't think she'd go home for him. Like I think she'd like, I don't know. I think she'd cut him if she had to. But like,
I mean,
like
that
yeah,
also
like I
raises
think if it was him or
questions
her.
too.
say again.
That
Yeah.
also raises questions too. What is she trying to say about her brother? He does no chores around the house. Like, hello, come on, throwing him under the bus or what?
I haven't
He's
seen him
usually
break a
really
sweat
lazy.
ever.
I'm so proud of him not being so lazy.
But isn't it because she's a fitness YouTuber? Like she's a fitness YouTuber, and I think he's just like an everything YouTuber. I don't know. I didn't start looking at the videos just yet, but it's been busy.
So back at the manor, what's kind of been going on is all the faithfuls are super angry that the traitors didn't help them win some money. And it's kind of like,
how,
I mean,
like, how do you even know that?
I think it's a little bit flawed. We already talked about how they set up this challenge, and so maybe it was on purpose so they can get this conversation being like, why didn't they help us out with this? And so maybe it was intentional. But come on, faithfuls, like you chose wrong. You sucked at the challenge. Like just
It was meant for you to lose. Take the loss and go.
Those games become super difficult. Like I was saying when I was talking with Bruno earlier, they're all type A personalities going into these shows. So it makes it so difficult for some people to put their ego aside and just let others, gather the information and help each other. That's why they're also yelling over each other, trying to get answers, and that's why they always fail. That's why they fail. So I mean, at the end of the day, that's how they cast. They know what they want, and that's what causes the problems. But yeah, I mean, the traitors didn't do anything. They just clearly couldn't. They don't. Essentially, what it proves is they're not close enough with the traitors to know how the traitors would think to guess the answers the same way that the traitors would. So
true.
That's my take anyway.
Yeah, I definitely would be like, okay, I need to get to know people a little bit better because it didn't help anybody had any clues, any more ideas on who could the traitors be. Like, are they working? Like, they're among us. Like, who are they? Now people are getting sus of Kirkland because he's pulling people one-on-one when he's having these conversations with them. So what do you think about the strategy of having these one-on-one conversations that people are kind of being a little sus about?
It's so funny because the things that I have gone back in my brain and said, I would have done this, this, and this differently, everybody's doing this season and they're getting in trouble for it. So like, I would have thought that was a good thing to do, was like to pull people aside, because you can be a little bit more honest. You can judge the feeling of like getting to know someone. You can go with your gut a little bit better instead of in these big group situations. So I think pulling people aside is a good idea, but I don't know what Kirkland's been doing. We only see what they show us. So if he's doing that with every single person and he's avoiding groups altogether, then that's obviously going to be a red flag. But I do think it's a good idea to pull people one-on-one.
Well,
so
when you're on a game show where your words can be misconstrued, like you kind of want to have one-on-one conversations with people. I can understand that. And so they might just be trying to set up the next target, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's putting a red flag on him. So I don't know. That wouldn't be a red flag for me.
It wouldn't be for me either. But if I was trying to get him out, maybe I'd.
Well, yeah, then I'd spread it.
Netta and Kira have a conversation. They both feel good about each other. They pinky swear, but Netta in her confessional isn't fully sold on Kira, which they keep on saying this. Like she, right in the beginning, she didn't feel great about Kira being a traitor with her. And we get these sound bites often that she doesn't fully trust her. She's an A+ traitor. So do you think that that could be foreshadowing Kira getting to Netta first? No, you think you'll still think that Netta's going to?
I mean, I
could
think
be. It could be.
she might try. I don't know. Like it would be surprising, but something.
Or Netta catching
right
it
now
and
is
being
like
able
the
to.
golden traitor. Like nobody knows she's a traitor. They're talking so much about how great she is, and I mean, I don't know. Like it feels like she's going to. I'm wondering if she's going to be the first traitor gone. I really am. Like Mike has heat on him. People are already voting for him. He's suspicious. Karen, nobody suspects at all. Netta would be like a medium person that people would suspect, but I just got this feeling that Kara's going to be out. I don't know.
Now,
she's doing the best job.
Just going back to maybe getting Mike out though, or yeah, he's Michael out. Is that he like they can recruit somebody that might be better, and Meta might want to recruit someone that she could work better with, that she might be able to take out Kira. And so that's why I would think that maybe she would let Michael go first as opposed to Kira, so that she can maybe bring in an ally, so she has a little bit more power in the conclave.
I mean, she could. That's true.
It also depends too, because like if I remember correctly, like the production puts so many twists in it that they may think that if a traitor gets removed, they're going to be able to recruit the following episode, but it may not happen for an additional 3 episodes. All depends on production. So that'd be tricky for her to make a decision like that's a possibility, and not weighing out that I guess she hasn't been there before, so she might not know that it might not happen immediately. So that's risky. It's better off to stick with your current team and just watch what they're doing and keep them close. And I think go that route, to be honest, because Michael's already their pawn, so it's bound to happen sooner or later. But I do agree with Mel. She did say earlier that potentially they could go before he does. Maybe. We don't know. There is no foreshadowing until the episode is aired.
It's so wild. It's honestly, it's the craziest show because it could literally go in any direction, and the smallest thing will take you from like this course to like back that way. Like it just, you get sideswiped from anything.
So at the roundtable, the pretty obvious discussions were coming out, talking about Rebecca being a bit sus, talking about Cedric and his hit list of 8 people, which I wish we heard who was on that list.
Like name them all.
Like at least in the confessional, I want to know who's on his hit list. Enoch thinks that Cedric is very distracting. Lori is definitely concerned by the connections that Rebecca has made. And you can start seeing Rebecca just deflating a little bit when she's starting to realize like, oh, there's a lot more than just a couple people that I have that have some heat, that have some questions about me being a traitor potentially. I felt bad. You could see her.
She was,
devastation.
PTSD for one. And just watching her, because like it felt like it came out of nowhere, and it looked like on her face it came out of nowhere. Like I truly believe that she was like, I'm here, I'm playing a game, I'm making friends, like I've got these great connections, I'm a faithful, let's find the traitors. And then all of a sudden her name gets floated out, and she gets grabbed right away at breakfast and is told like, hey, we think that you're a traitor. Is this her?
Rebecca!
Okay.
Oh!
Yeah, we were literally talking about you right now. Like, actually, I've been having a drink for you.
We were talking about you, but it was just seeing that, how the round table was going, and knowing that someone, it's kind of what Netta was saying when, you're doing this face to face, you're voting out somebody that this was, part of their dream, and it's something that they were excited about participating and experiencing, and knowing that their dream was taken away. So yes, we were really sad for this being your ending here. Boo.
Tell us if this came out of nowhere, Rebecca. Like, did you have was there an inkling on day 1, or was it day 2? Like, because this is the thing that we're talking about right now, is that it seems like you were there to have fun, and then all of a sudden your name came out of nowhere, and then you're at the round table, people start piling on, and then you're gone. And it was just devastating. Like,
I felt like she knew.
You think?
I felt like she knew. Like
It was
she
like
she
coming on
knew
like
she
that.
knew to an extent, but didn't want it to happen. Like, when something you know is gonna happen, but you're like, oh, there's that slim glimmer of hope. I feel like that's what had happened to her. And yeah, it's unfortunate it goes, but as soon as that manor dust sprinkles
Oh, it's fucking
your name,
brutal.
It's
is no
hard
turning
to
back.
get it off of me. Get it off. Get it off. It's like
Yeah.
paranormal is on me. I don't
It's
want the stink of being a
it's
traitor.
like a juju. Like it gets on you. It's true. Like you can't avoid it, and then everybody goes toward you, traitor or not. Be a lion outdoors. Do we think this is Chris?
Queen Bee will be back. Be a lion
Potentially.
outdoors.
Because he's
Maybe.
naked and afraid. They call him the lion.
Well, then, and outdoors.
Chris, it's Chris. See?
Hi,
I would have made a
Chris.
good face
Did
palm.
you see that we're dressed in denim and with the cowboy hat? And for
We're
you,
Alberta for Chris, and Melissa's drinking for Rebecca.
There you go.
It's almost all gone too.
So Rebecca says that at first it seemed like only Cedric was talking about me until right before the round table, and I was given a bit of a heads up, so you can certainly see my disappointment in the confessionals. Yeah.
It's
It was
We need
just really sad
justice.
because it's so soon. You were making a lot of great friendships and relationships, but it just wasn't enough yet just to get that traitor's juju off of you.
yeah.
It
You were
was
the
it was it
sacrifice.
was it was one of those episodes where everybody's like, "Don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me," and then when you're picked, everybody runs with it because they want to stay safe. So
They exactly.
it's luck of the draw. Honestly, it was luck of the draw. It just sucks that it was such a far plane ride for a short period of time. So I feel for you. Melissa definitely knows. That's why she's drinking
Mhm.
for you. And don't be hard on yourself. Honestly, there's nothing you could have possibly did. It's just the way the game goes. Like, it's so out of your control that it's not even funny. Like, there's absolutely nothing you can say at those round tables that's going to change the outcome.
It's true.
And
Like we
Chris,
did it to Colin. Like
Mhm.
I
Yep.
can remember fully sitting there being like, well, this sucks, but him or me.
And I
It's
knew
the
him going
mentality
home.
of the game.
And I knew him going home was ultimately me losing the only guy that smoked on set. So I
It
was
was
losing a good
true.
friend for the rest of the game, and I
They
had
were
to do what I had to
besties.
do to protect myself.
Yeah.
So Chris says you're rocking the Wranglers and slamming Jacob's Creek over there. And Rebecca says, I had a blast either way. I only wish I could have stayed longer to continue the fun. Someone had to go first.
Now, are they doing like
It's
they
so
did
true.
last year, where they bring the contestants on the Rad podcast, or no?
Oh,
RGP, yeah,
yeah,
they'll do
yeah.
RGP for sure. We will also be talking to both of them this week at some point, and so you definitely look forward to seeing what we have to say and what we have in
Get
store for
ready.
those two.
Well,
We've got
you
hard
gotta get
hitting
Chris.
questions.
You gotta get Chris
Got
to
Chris
give an
naked?
explanation as to why he put himself up there.
Oh yes, that will
Listen,
be probably the first question that we ask.
Chris is going to do the interview in the nude for one. That's all I have.
Did you tell your husband about this vibe you're feeling, or what?
Oh, this is just me. He knew what he married.
Uh-oh.
It's been 18 years. He
Electrician meets
understands me by
realtor.
now.
So
Oh,
just getting to
shocking.
the vote, we see Kevin votes for Rebecca. He had been talked to by a few people about how she was potentially a little bit suspicious. He didn't fully believe it, but it was kind of a name that he'd heard a few times from some people. Gail voted for Mike, which is understandable. Michael was shaking when he was doing this. I'm like, I don't know if you could play the I'm shaking by Michael, but okay. He votes for Rebecca. Kirkland votes for Rebecca. Cedric, Rebecca. Rebecca votes for Cedric. Of course, you're going to want to retaliate. And he also had a lot of heat on him too. So that's definitely where I would be going, even if I
That was
didn't
a
believe
good move for Rebecca too, though, because like if you do think that you're in danger, you want to go. Amazing. If you do think you're in danger, you do want to go ahead and vote for whoever else you think is going to be up next to you, because there is a chance that they could get 1, 2, 3 more votes than you, and then you're safe, right? So it was a good strategy.
It was closer than than the final outcome. There was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of votes on Cedric too, so it could have went
Yeah,
either way.
there was a
Yeah,
chance.
it definitely
Did
was a
did
chance.
did Cedric's push the envelope comments alter some minds? We don't know. Maybe his aggressive
Mhm.
personality altered somebody one way or another. Who knows? To be honest, because he was
But
pretty
also
vocal.
maybe wanting to keep someone like that in the game, it's kind of useful. It's a little bit of a shield for certain people, and they know, okay, we can always get Cedric out of the game. We can always get Cedric out of the game,
Yeah.
and that could be another reason why they wanted to keep him around.
Mhm.
And
Very
I'm sure
much agreed.
production was like, and he's causing some trouble, and people are talking about him, so that is entertainment for sure. Then Mike clocks Michael, and I was
Loved
like,
it.
oh, I wish that he had the social capital to be able to like really go in and get something going, and maybe he'll be able to. Like maybe Netta will hear it and be like, interesting that you think that.
Pull him in.
Why? So
It's
hopefully
funny.
that can be used. Go
It's
ahead.
funny because at first glance, Michael was probably thinking to himself at that table, "Oh, I can't wait to get to the conclave tonight because that Mikey's gonna be gone." And then he's like, "You guys want who? I don't want that. Who?"
It's so true.
Remember when Gerpier spotted out Mike? He was gone
That
the
was
next
my
day,
first
and
thought.
nobody caught on to that. That's crazy.
Nichelle voted for Rebecca. Dylan saying, as you mentioned before, that this is a warning. Calm yourself, Cedric.
Loved it. That was just one of my favorite parts. Like, he's so sassy. I'm very much enjoying it.
Kira obviously stood up for her girl and voted Cedric. Pachman, Cedric. Lauren voted for Mike. Jasmine, Aaron kind of didn't really help push anything in any direction there, which kind of sucks. Melinda voted for Cedric. Mary Jo, Rebecca. Lori, Rebecca. Aaron, Mike. Henoch, Michael, which I thought was, where did that come from? Because he was
Enoch voted Michael.
Unless I made a
Him and
mistake
Mike voted
writing
Michael.
down, but I believe he voted Michael.
No, there were two votes on Michael.
Yeah, correct. And then Nick voted for Cedric, and then Netta for Rebecca. Even though when she was saying, that's when she was saying that she felt really bad. She had a heart. Even though, didn't she say in the first episode that she wanted to give to the murder envelope in person, face to face, because that would be so. And she couldn't even do the round table without getting all teary eyed.
Netta speaks mean, but I think that she's, like it is hard. Like, it's easy to go in with that mentality, like, this is a game, this is a game, this is a game. But when they take your phone away from you and you're not at home, you don't have your regular outlets, you can't go work out, you can't even like leave your room half the time. They have you locked in, they're eating lunch alone. Your sense of reality becomes the game. And then these people become your family and your friends. So when you're a traitor and you have to send them home, it is real, and it does sometimes feel like murder, and you do feel bad because it's their dream, you're staying and they're going, and it hurts.
Oh, Rebecca says, I think I may have changed her feelings on that when she saw my Suki baby face.
You killed us all. Like, it was so sad.
It was very sad. I definitely didn't want to see you go. I didn't get to see you play. But Rebecca does say, you all messed this one up. The traitors are laughing because I'm a faithful.
So, it was a nice exit too. So
I mean, the question I would have, since they're both in the chat room, is, was it what you expected it to be?
Good question. Dom, you're supposed to
like,
leave that for us.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
I'm joking.
We're here now, and I might not be here tomorrow, so I might as well have asked it now, right?
No, but yes, answer that question. That was a good one.
Because everybody does take the time to watch the show and think they get a good grasp of it, and then when you actually go in there, it's totally different. So, was it legitimately what you expected? And if it wasn't, why?
Yeah. Rebecca replies, in some ways, yes, but so much more intense than anyone can imagine. You don't get it until you're in it. I can imagine.
Agreed.
I can imagine that for sure.
Agreed.
So she's disappointed, of course, but she leaves the game. And then they started talking about, like, Corinne said this. Think about who led you down the wrong path. And I was like, Corinne, that's kind of good strategy. Why are you helping out the faithfuls here? They should figure this out on their own.
They always do that, though. Like, in every series, they have, like, the host always has some type of cryptic message that they drop hints all the time, but sometimes they're actual hints and sometimes they mean nothing. I just always wonder if they're just pre-written and have nothing to actually do with the traitors. They're just cryptic messages. But yeah, like she fully was like, hey, think about this.
It's
This
true
will give
though.
you
But
a
then
hint,
again,
you know?
but then again, what they air on the roundtable is so much shorter than what it really
Of
is.
course.
The people
It's like
behind
a
closed doors probably, she's got an earpiece, so they probably say, you know what, let's send it in this direction based on what we've seen from the contestants, right? So I agree with you, and there's so much more behind it. Production's pretty smart.
I want uncut roundtables so bad. Like give
Oh,
us extra
nice.
online footage of just like you don't need to put it on TV. Let us click the video, put it on YouTube, wherever you're gonna put it, and let us watch an uncut roundtable because they are so much crazier.
How long are they? Did you say? I forgot.
Oh, they were long. They're
Hour
at
to
least they're
1 to 3 hours depending on the day.
what's the extension on Crave? Like, what's the difference from the live aired show to the Crave?
I don't know what the
Today was
difference is.
57 minutes. It
It's
was like
7 minutes.
57 full minutes. So it was like a
On-
full hour instead of 40. So it would have been like an extra 20 minutes.
Okay, and it's
Ah.
probably what happened after because I thought that was going to be done right after the roundtable and Rebecca leaves, but then there was a little bit of aftermath, and so maybe that's part of the 15 minutes
I
extra.
wonder if they gave more roundtable.
I didn't watch the uncut, so I don't know what the difference was, but it was good.
I've only
it was
watched.
Nice to have a full hour.
I watched the full out. I watched Crave version, so
Yeah, me
I don't know
too.
what the difference is. Chris says it was different in the fact that I had pants, so that's a change up. It's survival, but a different kind of survival. So having survived on 3 continents and killed in a house, it's wildly different. Ha ha ha.
What was Chris's feeling when he got on that yellow chair for the first time in his exit interview?
Did want to know that because I'm like, he just looks so sad when he spits in his envelope. We were sad for you. So Rekha says, well, really none of the traitors led people to me. So if anything, that may have thrown them off more, I would think.
True.
So just getting to the end of this episode, we see Jasmine saying that she told Kirkland that if Rebecca is not a traitor and she leaves the game, that now her target is going to be Kirkland. So do you think that Kirkland is going to be the new sacrificial lamb here and be the next person banished?
Depends what Jasmine's pull is. I don't think she's got much pull at this point. I mean, Chris and Rebecca can contest to whether she does or not. We haven't seen much of her. We don't know what her relationships are like. Is she going to be able to pull the anchor in or not? I don't know.
Chris says, you're going to have to book your boy on your pod for all the goods, my brother. So,
well, Chris, if you want to come next week, brother.
With Bruno?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go listen to. Does he do live or is he?
We do record it. We do record it.
Okay,
We're
so
not as special as you guys. Yeah.
I love live because I love the live chat. That's my favorite.
The chat is really cool. It has been really cool.
I give you kudos to that. I do like that.
It's just fun when you get to be reacting in real time and you get to see all of our real thoughts, our real reactions. It's, I'm not going to do any editing. This is all live. This is a live, all raw footage.
You better hope people don't break the rules then.
No. I mean, they know.
But is that our fault? Is that our fault if they break them?
I don't know, but you don't want people breaking the rules on here. She's got a lovely podcast going on.
It would bring up ratings for the podcast.
Tina says, I think that you'll see Michael and Kirkland getting some heat next roundtable. Yeah, I do.
So I do think that Kirkland is going to get a good bit of heat because him and Cedric seemed to be the two that were leading the charge on Rebecca, and there didn't seem to be any actual reason behind it. So I definitely think that eyes are going to be on him. Now, I don't know if he's going to be next banished, but he's definitely going to get looked at for sure.
But then again, you know as much as I know, when you're in that room for so many hours and you're analyzing so many different ways and writing names down, this and that, from one day to the next, it could change like on a dime, just like that. Because like
in 5
this game,
minutes,
what people don't understand is it's not Big Brother. You don't have a week. You got one day. One day that's not even legitimately 24 hours. Like you wake up, you wait, you go to the breakfast, you go do your mission, you come back, you have a lunch break. Then you go back into reality, then you have dinner, and then before you know it, you're getting ready for the roundtable. So like the actual time that you have to spend with people and develop relationships and push the envelope and the whole 9 yards is very slim. We're talking maybe 3-4 hours tops. How much you gonna accomplish in 3-4 hours?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Like I can remember that was one of the things that I said leaving because I went in to play a Big Brother game, and when everybody started to like put heat on me, I only found out right before the round table that I was going to come up at the round table, and it was almost like once you find out, it's too late. You don't have like Don was saying, you don't have that week or 3-4 days or whatever it is to try to change people's mind. You have the round table to change people's mind, and a lot of people go into the round table with their mind in one direction as it is. It's so difficult.
So Tina says, yeah, but even BB can things can change from minute to minute. Not always, but it can be chaotic. It definitely can be chaotic
Truth.
sometimes. Chris says, thanks for breaking down the schedule. News to me.
Poor guy.
Oh, Chris, we feel ya.
Chris.
Listen,
At least you got to do the media day. That's a fun day. That's the only time where it's positive, where everybody's happy and go lucky, and then it turns when you hit that round table.
yeah, it's so true. Well, yeah, once those traitors are picked, everything is different. But before that, everybody's friends.
Playing Mario Kart.
So
You guys
the
play
last
Mario
point
Kart?
before we get to the final conclave, where Dylan confronts Mike, and he's so mad at Mike for the fact that Mike decided to vote for Michael. Like, how dare he want to vote for somebody else? I know you're vibing with Dylan, but I was kind of like, why leave Mike alone? Maybe ask him like, why do you feel that way? Like, let's talk about
it made
this.
no
That's
sense.
interesting. Instead of just deciding that his vote was stupid. So I thought that was a missed opportunity for Dylan to be able to talk to Mike, get to know him a bit.
I think Dylan is on this show to have fun, create drama, and just be loud. Right. Oh my God, Chris.
Oh, believe me, there was no
You
breakfast.
need to
I
call
didn't eat once.
Erica. Hey, they was the best chocolate croissants I ever had.
That wasn't my type of breakfast.
I would have liked
Over
bacon,
easy, sunny side up, bacon, eggs. Let's go. Like,
no, it was all
I
just
got
pastries.
bacon later on. Yeah, it was just pastries and some like grapes, bit of cheese. Cheese was good.
Rebecca says very much that you're forced to make fast connections and make judgments on people based on baselines you've gathered for a few hours at most. 100%. Breakfast. So Dylan then asks if Michael and Mike know each other. And I was like, why would he take that from Mike? Like, to push the, like, I didn't understand why.
I did get that a little bit because they do seem, Michael and Mike seem to be the ones that connected a bit. Like, there's something that we're not seeing on these episodes. I mean, obviously production chooses what they show us, but like, there is an underlying connection that I can see between Mike and Michael. I think that they're an older crowd. I think that they both are into like paranormal, true crime podcasts, books, whatever. I think that they probably got along right off the bat. And I think that's why Mike had such a good read on Michael because he could tell, right? And then he said it at the table. And I think Dylan knew that they were connected. I think he probably saw that connection. I think he's calling Mike out for saying about Michael because Dylan probably didn't know that. I mean, I don't know why Dylan's doing what he's doing. I think he's creating drama, but like, there's definitely something going on there with Mike and Michael where I can understand why Dylan thought they knew each other.
But then again, his reaction to the vote from Mike to Michael wasn't to the point where it's like, you're backstabbing me. So like, yeah, I get what you're saying. I can see that. But I would have felt like he would have given more of a reaction like, what? You're throwing me under the bus? He didn't really do that, right?
100%. Yeah. Like, it didn't make sense for Dylan to get mad at the vote.
Exactly.
But I can see why he thinks like,
they might know each other.
Do you know each other? Like, because
but then also mad about that. Like, he's just so mad at him for nothing.
Rotted.
Like, chill, please. Yeah. Aaron thinks that Mike's too nice or really smart. Cedric has decided that he's going to be less of a distraction from now on. I don't know if that will be true.
Listen, but Cedric's going to win.
I'm not sure if I still believe that at this point.
I think he's going to shut it down. I think he's going to fade into the background a little bit, and he's going to sneak by a few episodes.
It's too hard for a man like that with a personality like that who's a comedian to just shut it down. Please, come on now.
Yes, we're rocking cowgirl hats in support of Chris here. Okay, so the traitors meet face to face. Kira tells Michael Traitor that he looks sus. In her confessional, she says she knew that he was a traitor right away. It's very obvious. Even for me, it seems like it's traitorous. He's trying to in a way that for me seems a little bit obvious. So you're gonna say something, Mel? You agree?
No, I'm obsessed with this conclave. I love the dynamic of three of them and how Kara and Netta are like this team and he's on the outs. I feel for him. I honestly really, if I was there, I don't know that I would think that he is a traitor, like per se. I don't think, like watching it and knowing that he's a traitor is different, but I don't think he's actually doing traitorous things that make him obvious. But I definitely think that he's spiraling. I think he's the odd man out. He doesn't trust the traitors that he's been paired with. And I think that he just knows, he's got a gut feeling that they're going to throw him under the bus and he doesn't know how to save himself. So I think that's what's happening with him. We're going to watch him self-destruct a little bit.
So Netta thinks that Jasmine should be the person that they murdered this tonight, just to keep the confusion alive. Nobody suspects her for anything. Then Kira thinks that Nichelle should be the person that they choose. Michael thinks that Gail Kim, and he hasn't spoke to her. And I was like, I didn't know where Gail came in. So I feel like she's not going to be the person that they murdered because we didn't really see that much of her this episode. I feel like they'll choose somebody that we saw maybe a little bit more of, right? I think they're going to go Jasmine in the end.
It's hard to say. Like, I think they'll either do we think that they're going to pick one of the three?
Or
like
this,
for
like maybe
sure?
just...
I don't know. With
might
Michael
not.
going that hard, I can also see Netta and Kara. Like they do seem to have a good connection. I can see them doing some kind of Jedi mind reading, whatever, and being like, you know what? If he's going to put his foot down, fine. Let's get rid of Gail to please him. And then let's just throw this guy under the bus because he's obviously not going to be a traitor that we can work together with. Like,
Well, he's
gonna go
worried
so
about
hard,
that. And I don't know if his reaction is the reaction to have to make them not want to go against you.
Oh, yeah. He's not doing a good job with
Everything he did
he's
from the
making it worse.
breakfast on was he was still sleeping.
He's making it much worse. And I feel like if they do get rid of Gail, it's going to be like taking the dog for one last treat before you bring him to the vet to put him down, kind of a situation. Like, I think they're going to like, fine, have Gail and then go. It's what people do.
Who wants to bring the dog to the vet to put him down?
Well, like if Truffy is terminal, you know, and it can't be cured, and this is his last day, and you plan it out, and you give him a big steak dinner, and you go to the park. It's a thing. Okay.
Tina thinks that he's just overreacting to everything. He's trying too hard to blend in as a faithful, and it's going to bite him in the ass.
Tina,
and he has got to go. I just don't think that he can put his foot down with these two. If they do appease him, it will be just to placate so that they can take him out when they can.
Yeah.
They might allow him to get his way, so he thinks that, you know, he has some power over them. But I don't see them doing it like legitly. So we'll see what happens. I'm actually pretty excited with this.
I know. I'm like, come on.
If they keep him long enough, it could bite them. And if they get rid of him now, it might be better for them. Time will tell, because right now, yeah, they can drag him along where they're saying, okay, faithful gone, faithful gone, faithful gone. Oh, this week it's very difficult to get a faithful gone. It's time for Michael. But at that point in time, is he building connections with other people in which it benefits him? Maybe dragging him along may not be the right answer at this point. He seems like he's a rough and tough guy. And if you bark up the wrong tree, he's going to be cutting it down with a chainsaw. So those two girls better watch out if they keep him around long enough. Let me tell you.
Does he have the social capital?
He investigates ghosts.
But that's like having like one of those like electromagnetic
is that what a paranormal?
Yeah, he's a ghost hunter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he goes to like haunted places to see if there's any abnormal electrical activity.
Okay, so he's comfortable being inside that manor. Then he's fine. He'll be fine.
He's good. He's got the ghost of the manor backing him. I don't think he's going to be the first trader out. I don't know.
He probably has already slept there even before they even started filming at the place.
They found him at the manor and they're like, "Hey, you want to be part of the show?"
Yeah. I mean, that would be fun if the manor was haunted. And maybe he could bring them.
It was.
I think this is haunted.
Did we not tell you the ghost stories? It's a haunted manor.
Oh, we should have like a separate
Is
like
it
the ghost
Mary?
series.
Yeah, we'll get some of the old cast on because I think it's Mary that has the ghost stories. Is it Dom or Don? Well, Donna only has ghost
Oh my
stories.
god, I would love to
She
hear
has all the
Donna
ghost
with the
stories.
ghost story.
Crazy, because me and you were the only two that initially found out that girl was a medium and not a what? What did she say she was at first?
I mean, we should have known. She said she was a grief counselor to us.
There you go.
And then we're like,
She's a
why is
great
she
grief
crying so
counselor.
much? We never flew in.
She's a great grief counselor.
Oh, Donna.
Do we have an MVP for this episode?
Oh my gosh.
MVP as in hiding or being abrupt.
Whatever you want to judge an MVP on. Could be
Mike.
entertaining. I mean,
Dylan for entertainment.
I don't know if I find it.
I gotta say, yeah, I agree. Mike, the criminal guy, for sure.
Mhm.
He caught it out bang on, dead nuts.
I was pretty impressed by that. Tina thinks Kira.
The MVP? I don't know why I yelled that, as if she can hear me if I say it louder.
MVP for Kira?
I mean, I think
she's
I like
a good traitor.
I think I like Mike for the fact that I don't know if it's going to help him out, but he clocked Michael as a traitor, and I'm impressed by that.
And like,
so,
no one at the round table even brought him up, and like he's just like Cedric, Rebecca, Michael.
He's so good though.
Let's give it to Mike.
Mike gets
Let's
MVP.
Give him some support here on the channel. We would be listening to your ideas, hopefully, anyways, if we were in the game with you.
Yeah.
Well, that is it. I'm going to keep you last with us for 2 hours. I can't even believe that you stayed with us. So thank you so much for all your insights.
Oh, you know what? I apologize. I had a lot of phone calls coming in. We got the Stag and Dough coming up this Saturday. So Rita needs help with the Jello shots, and I put that on pause for you guys for 2 hours.
Oh my gosh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Tell Rita thank you.
I am definitely rooting for you guys in the future.
Mad at us.
Amazing. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Honestly, I'd love to hear what Chris has to say about why he went up. I mean, if he wants, maybe we should somehow connect you with us and make this a big thing. Like, who knows, right?
That's easy. With Instagram and social media, we can get connected. Like, he's probably slid into your DMs already. So it's perfect.
There you go.
Well, thanks again, Dom. Thanks again to everybody in the chat, especially all the players that are having these little conversations with us. People, Tina and others from our chat. You guys are awesome with your thoughts, insights, and support here. So much appreciated. And Mel B, thank you for being here. Do you have anything you want to plug before we say goodbye?
I mean, if you're in Newfoundland and looking to buy or sell a house, I'd be willing to give you a call. But you can follow me at Best on The Rock on Instagram, and that's basically where you want to find me. So DM me there if you have any questions.
Ooh, Rebecca says Mike's MVP prize can be everyone checking out his new book. I will check out his new book. I love.
Yes, please. Rebecca, is there a way that can she put that in the link, or can we put that up somewhere?
I can find it. I can put the link in the description box.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I just bought Leroy's. We should put Leroy's book in there too. Leroy has a children's book out from last season.
Watch everybody's books or read
throw all the books in there.
As long as you subscribe to the channel, you're not.
I'm not a reader myself.
Well, maybe there's an
Audible. Let's do a visual book.
An Audible book, baby.
There you go.
In the car. So thanks everybody for being here. Subscribe, like this video. Let us know who you think the MVP should be. Who we're getting justice for. Who needs to have their redemption seasons. Let us know in the comments. We'll see everybody soon.
Good luck on the podcast, guys. Love ya.